Well, welcome back. Right here. How are you feeling this fight week?
I'm feeling great. I fought not too long ago, June 10th at UFC Vancouver, and just right back into training camp. I felt great.
Did you like that quick turnaround? Did you feel like you needed a quick turnaround, or would you have preferred to have a little bit more time?
No, I love the quick turnaround. I mean, this will be my third fight this year, and I feel like it's even easier for me just to stay in training camp, continue to build on my skills and stuff. But yeah, having a long kind of time off between fights, I really don't like that. So this has been great.
How important was that win for you? I know you had the draw and then you had some losses. How important was that for your mentality to get that win?
It was great. As far as my mentality, I was comfortable with the Korean Superboy fight. Again, I felt like I won that fight. I was able to, sleep at night and stuff. Even with the Jai Herbert fight last year in London, I went back and watched it a bunch of times, and there's nothing I could do about what the judges do. So I was comfortable with my performance and my preparation and stuff. Obviously, we've built on the training camp and my skill set since then. But mentally I've been good with all my last few fights.
Do you ever have to consider? You're going to be fighting somebody Hispanic. I believe he's from Mexico, and this is a Hispanic card. There's going to be a lot of people cheering for that fighter. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about having to kind of walk into enemy territory a little bit there?
Yeah, absolutely. I fought on UFC Mexico against a Mexican fighter in Polo Reyes. So I walked out to probably the most Mexican crowd you can get, and they were all, cheering for my opponent and booing me and stuff. But, what I found is once I got in the octagon and I finished Polo pretty early on, then I won over all the Mexican fans. I think they're big combat sports fans, and they appreciate people that go out and put on a show and really fight. So I think even though I may not be they may not be my fans right now, after the fight, they're definitely going to be, Kyle Nelson fans.
What are your thoughts on your opponent? What sort of fight are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting a good fight. He's a young guy. He's aggressive, tall, long, good boxing, good jiu-jitsu. So I think it's a great matchup. I think we pair up well, in a lot of that stuff. I think my Muay Thai is a little bit better than his boxing. I think my wrestling and jits is a little bit better than his jits. But him being young and hungry and just getting into the UFC, I think it's gonna make for a good matchup.
And last question for me. I know you said you like that quick turnaround. Do you think that maybe you'll fight again one more time this year? Or is that the goal?
So I would like to fight in December unless the UFC comes to Canada in January. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'd love to again get another turnaround, 3 or 4 months. Obviously Canada would be preferable, but if they're not going to come, then yeah, I'd like to fight again in December.
Thank you.
Hey Kyle, right back here.
Yeah.
You shared on Instagram a few days ago a picture of you reading to your boys, obviously both very young. As they get older and they can understand more about your job, what fight are you most excited about sharing with them when they get older?
I think as they learn to understand what I do for a living, it's not even going to necessarily be one of my performances that I would look forward to share with them the most. I think it'd be kind of the hard work and the perseverance that I've put into, my career. It's one thing to see kind of what I do in the cage for whatever 10, 15 minutes, but they're going to get to be behind the scenes and a part of a lot of my training camps and see how hard I work, and if I can instill some of that work ethic and the ability to overcome adversity and stuff like that in them, I'd much prefer them learn that from me than just be excited that, oh hey, my dad's on TV.
You touched on it, obviously fighting, Mexican on Mexican Independence Day. Is there any time where you feel a little spoiled? Like, obviously, the last fight, you're at home in Canada, and now, obviously, it's a very different thing. Is it a little difficult to be like, well, I couldn't get used to that feeling, you know what I mean?
It was definitely a good feeling, walking out in UFC Vancouver with all the Canadian fans there. But it's, I take it as, like a treat. It was awesome, but now it's back to work, I'm from Canada. I'm generally always the away guy, whether I'm fighting in Mexico or the States or England. I'm always going to be the away guy, so that's what I'm comfortable with.
One final one. Obviously, Yasmin Yazdavisi is also on the card. Both Canadians, both fighting Mexicans. Has there been anything at the hotel? Any fist bumps saying, "Hey, we got this together for the North"?
I actually haven't seen her this week yet, but I saw her last week, at training. We get to train together a bit up in Canada. I saw one of her coaches today, so I got to talk with them and stuff. But yeah, I definitely think, we've both had a great training camp for this fight, and I think we're both going to put on great shows.
Thank you.
Kyle, do you think the experience fighting in Mexico is going to help you in any way for this event, since it's going to be, very Mexican heavy as far as like the crowd?
Yeah. I mean, it's always different going into somebody else's hometown. The same with England and stuff, and hearing the the boos and all that stuff. But it was definitely kind of something refreshing in Mexico when I was able to win over the crowd, and they did appreciate a good performance and a good fight. I think there's maybe crowds in certain areas where you could go and you could put on the best fight ever, but if you beat their hometown guy, they're going to hate you no matter what. Whereas I feel like the Mexican fans they appreciate combat sports, with a long history of boxing and stuff like that. I think they they're not going to be biased towards me after the fight. If I put on a good fight, an honorable fight, then I think I'll win a lot of them over.
Is there any mental preparation or anything you need to be aware of when fighting with the crowd against you?
No, I think I went through that preparation earlier on in my career. Again, always being the away guy, and now I'm so strong mentally that it's not even necessarily something I have to visualize or go through or anything. I've already got that locked in.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've realized this, but I know you fought in the Apex before, but generally, like, you're fighting in pretty big events with big crowds, right? Like, that's kind of been the story of your career. And sometimes we hear like fighters say like, oh, I want to feel the crowd. I don't want to fight in the Apex anymore. Have you noticed that? Like, you've kind of, and I guess in a way, been lucky that like you've been able to be part of like these big events in big arenas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was interesting to fight at the Apex, and it's cool because you can hear your corner so well, and it's definitely a different experience, and I enjoyed it while it happened. But I mean, there's something different about having the crowd there, whether they're your hometown crowd or an away crowd. Having the people there definitely does give you a certain amount of energy.
Thank you.
Carl, over here. You mentioned that you're coming off a win at UFC 289 in front of an electric Canadian crowd. As a Canadian fighter yourself, what's it like witnessing this influx of talent coming out of Canada, and what can we expect in the next coming years from Canada mixed martial arts?
Yeah, I definitely think, MMA in Canada is on the rise, and obviously UFC Vancouver was a great statement for that. I mean, all the Canadians went undefeated. We put on a great show. We had, again, fans from all over Canada come out to BC, and I know they're hungry for more events. So, I mean, the more events the UFC does there, the more kind of attention we get as Canadian fighters, and the more it kind of, fills gyms and builds, the next round of talent. So I think, with guys like me, Mike Malott, Charles Jourdain, Gavin Tucker, I mean, we've got so many high-level guys, and I think with the UFC, being back in Canada, it's going to put a little bit more of a spotlight on us, and you're going to see, an even bigger explosion of Canadian MMA.
You have a message for those watching from back home?
Yeah, I mean, make sure you turn in September 16th. I'm going to be representing Canada, and, I'm going to put on a good show for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Terrance, how are you feeling? Fight week?
Guys, I'm feeling great. Fight week, main card, weight's good. I'm excited, ready to go for this one. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I can sense that excitement. Does this feel different? This feel special?
Yeah, man, being on the main card, working your life to get where you want to be, seeing the fruits of your labor. I mean, I'm all smiles, well prepared. 3 weeks, 8 weeks, completely different me, completely different fight.
Yeah, and once you got the name Raul Rosas, thrown your way, what were your original thoughts? What were your impressions of Raul?
Yeah, so obviously he's 18, I think 19 now, youngest guy on the roster. I respect it a lot. Like I just mentioned, I've been working my ass off to get here and to be here. So I respect it that he's already, here. But I'm looking to take all his fans, all his shine, and, I think he has a bright future ahead of him, but I'm looking to stop the train right here, right now.
Yeah, and I believe he's still 18. I'm not quite sure. Is it weird to fight an 18-year-old, a teenager? Is that weird?
No, not in this sport, man. You come in all the time, the next up-and-coming guy, you ask him, well, how old are you? You might be 19, 20, 23. I'm 33 now, so age doesn't matter in the sport. It's a rough sport, tough sport, and I know he's ready for it. I'm ready for it. I've been doing it since I was 18. He's here at 18. That's the only difference.
Yeah, and obviously a lot has been made of Raul, a lot of it because of his age, and he's done quite well. In fact, not so long ago he was undefeated. But a lot of the conversation surrounding him is, yes, he's good, but should he be in the UFC? What do you make of him? Like, if you look at his skills, do you feel like he's UFC caliber?
That's all the fans, right? They tell you, oh, this guy's in the UFC, this guy's not. Last weekend's pay-per-view, right? Sean Strickland can't do it, 4-1 in a title fight. So the people will always say, oh, he doesn't belong, and all that stuff. So I don't think he's listening to it. I'm definitely not listening to it, so that doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, and looking at him, obviously, at where he's at now, and you've been doing this for quite a while, could you imagine yourself at 18 being in the UFC?
Absolutely, man. Like I said, I started when I was 18. I had the same mindset. I thought I would never lose. Then I, stumbled, had 2 losses in a row. And then I went on a tear, just got way better. Yeah, you win or you learn, and that's what happened with me, and that's what I'm going to do to him.
Yeah. And lastly, how do you see this matchup going? How do you think you match up with him? And yeah, what do you think are your advantages for this fight?
So I think I match up well with everybody. I'm a decently big guy. I'm a long guy. I can do everything. It's just up to me to perform, and I can beat any of these guys. I know that. My team knows that. I just got to prove it to all you guys Saturday night.
You mentioned over here in front. You mentioned that you never lose, you learn. What did you learn in your last fight?
My last fight, it's just always stay ready, always be ready. The call's coming. That's it. You win and you learn. I had 3 weeks to prepare for it. He's got a bright future ahead of him, too. It just is what it is sometimes.
Would that keep you from maybe taking another short notice fight?
Absolutely not. We're always working, always ready. I just could have been pushing the pace a little bit more, but I'm working a side job too, so it was like got the call while I was at the job, then leave the job to go train. So it was a whirlwind for 3 weeks. Then I had to get medicals done. It was a lot, but you win and you learn.
What's your side job? Are you still doing it?
Yeah, I'm a salesman at Reliable Appliance. I'm now part-time because obviously this is the main focus. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. And, after this fight, after the win, we're looking to just be full-time, all in into this. It's what I've been here working my ass off for.
And, this fight is obviously in Vegas, not Mexico, but it does have a big, strong Mexican crowd that's coming. And you're fighting a man who his heritage is Mexican. So in a way, you're almost entering enemy territory. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah, I'm all smiles. I'm going to love it. I know they're going to boo me. I saw them all checking in yesterday. They're all looking at me. They already know. I already know. A fight's a fight, though, guys. It's like boo me, cheer me. I'll bleed. He'll bleed. That's what it is.
In the past, we've heard some fighters say that they have people that will heckle them during their sparring to kind of prepare for that. Have you done anything like that?
No, I don't hear the crowd. I hear my coaches. Everyone, I mean, you guys all hear it. You guys have been doing this, asking questions. Oh, knee him, elbow him whenever you have a guy in a position. Everyone's the best fighter in the world on the outside, right?
Thank you.
Terrance over here.
You're welcome.
Terrance, as many people may know, you actually competed on The Ultimate Fighter Season 24 that took place in 2016. Fast forward to 2023, you finally find yourself in the UFC. How's that road been like for you, knowing that it's been 7 years since your first appearance on Tough?
Yeah, man, exactly like we're talking about. He's 18. When I started, I was 18. So I always wanted to be the champ. That was the whole thing. 125 wasn't new for me, but it was not a hard cut, but harder. And I always told myself, I want to be a champ, so any opportunity. And if you remember, 2016, that was the Ultimate Fighter Champions, right? So I really wanted to make my mark, win that tournament, beat Demetrius Johnson, and be a flyweight champ. Just that's what we're in here for, to be the world champ.
So you mentioned you originally wanted to be the flyweight champ. You faced Kai France on that season. What's it like seeing how far he's come now?
Oh, man, great guy. That whole season, man, I have nothing bad to say. Those guys, everyone, and seeing his career, seeing him fight for the belt has been amazing. It's been awesome, and just validation that, I am good, and, stuff happens in a fight.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, Terrance. What were you doing during your 5-year layoff from 2018 to 2023?
So I was just training, helping people prepare, just figuring out, seeing, where I was at, because if you're not going to be the best, why do it, right? And that was kind of my mindset. And then I woke up one day, texted my coach, like, man, let's do this. Let's get after this. And he's like, we're really doing this? And, pedal to the metal. I think this is going to be my 5th fight this year, second one in the UFC, man. Just chose to turn it around for myself, and I did.
I know that there were a couple canceled fights in between that, but were you offered a lot of fights, or were you just kind of soul searching?
No, with the pandemic too, it made it kind of easy, right? So there was no fights in my hometown. There's still no fights really. And then same with travel restrictions, right? So it wasn't so much I chose, but the pandemic was certainly hard to get fights and come by fights if you weren't in the biggest organization.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Terrance, thanks for taking the time. You mentioned earlier that it's a completely different me. Could you please elaborate on that?
A completely different me. I said 8 weeks. My confidence is here. I'm ready to go tomorrow, today, tonight, 10 minutes. All the difference, good nerves, good energy. I've been here before. I can't wait to perform for you guys, man.
And you mentioned something that I love, that if you're not going to do it to be the best, then why do it? That's awesome. How do you bring that mindset into the game? Because short notice, full camp, whatever, it's great that you have this type of energy, even on a media day.
Oh, yeah, man, that's the thing. I love this, man. It's one of those things, like, for me, like I said, if you're not aiming to be the world champ or you have no vision of being the world champ, I couldn't see yourself doing it. It's a really hard job, a really fun job, but it is a job.
Awesome, my man. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thank
Good luck
you.
on Saturday.
Terrance, right here. You mentioned you're the most confident. You got a lot of things rolling for you right now. As a prediction, what should the fans expect to see you on Saturday?
As a prediction, it's a bantamweight fight, right? So we'll be fast, we'll be furious, but I think I bring a lot more power than he's used to. I think when I touch him, it's going to be different. When we're wrestling, he's going to be like, man, this guy's strong. So I'm looking to really just dominate the fight, win the fight, every which way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Hey guys.
Estoy acá, acaso hagan la pregunta en español para traducir a toda la gente,
Ah,
no para ti.
Before we get started, guys, we're just going to present Alexa with this commemorative belt for our first Noche event. It's customized for her from Mexico, and it's considered a tri belt, so you'll actually be getting some more information via email of everything that went into making this belt today.
First of all, Alexa, I mean, the UFC barely does this, that they customize belts, and they're doing it for, Mexican heritage, for your title fight. How nice is it to see the UFC focus on your culture and on this special date on September 16th?
Well, this is special because, as you notice, Mexico has been growing so fast and so nice in the sport. Honestly, having Mexican champions was a few years ago kind of impossible, so it's a big motivation for me. What Brandon has done, Jair what has done, Irene what has done, and every single Mexican in the card. Right now we have a card in Independence Mexican Day. This didn't happen in another country, so this says a lot about Mexican support in every single fight.
You almost have to pinch yourself, is this really happening? Because as you mentioned, you go back a few years ago and this was really hard to imagine, right?
Well, it's been a dream come true, and the most important thing, it's full of training, a lot of training to be able to be in this moment right now.
Yeah. Do you think this is the best possible scenario for your first title defense, Mexican Independence Day, being celebrated, Mexican heritage, plus, a big rematch, maybe one of the biggest fights in the division's history? Do you think this is the best case scenario for your first title defense?
Yes, well, I always say that making history is never easy, but I've been working so hard every single day of my life to be at this moment, and this last camp wasn't different. I was training more, I was with more discipline, I was 2-3 times extremer with my training and with everything that has to be done to be the champion again, to win the fight again. And, I just try to keep focus on the goal.
Yeah. And what's it like to show up in Vegas and seeing your face everywhere? Billboards, T-Mobile, magazines, I mean, even just covers of tables and everything. What's that been like?
It feels great. It's always, for an athlete to achieve all these big moments, to have in Las Vegas a lot of pictures of yourself. It fills my heart, it fills a lot my heart, and it just gives me a lot of motivation for this Saturday.
Yeah, and I gotta ask you, you are the last right now Mexican champion. Obviously, we saw Jair lose his interim and Brandon lose his undisputed. I'm wondering if that fuels you even further, just to kind of keep the flag at a championship level in the UFC pressure. How do you feel about your stance right now?
No, I don't think call it pressure. I think it's more motivation. We have done so much in the sport. We've been evolving so hard, and this keeps me with tons of motivation to keep the belt in Mexico.
Yeah, and lastly, Valentina, after your fight, mainly said that gave you some credit, but really emphasized the fact that she felt like she made an error in the fight, and it was that because what led her to losing the belt. I'm curious to your reaction to her response as to why she lost the belt.
It just kind of surprised for me, because someone with such big experience and competing at this high level, we know that there are no accidents. I trained for that moment, and you also can see the video that I have behind before the fight. I was training exactly that same position, so it was something that I trained to win that fight.
Looks over here. Alexa, last time out, you fought Valentina at UFC 285. Both of you had loud ovations inside the arena, but there's a good chance that you steal all of that this Saturday, right? How is it like, and how eager are you knowing that you're going to fight in front of a home crowd that's most likely going to be 100% Alexa Grasso on Saturday night?
Well, I hope, she's very famous too, people love both of us, which is beautiful, to have a lot of people cheering for both athletes in such big event, such main event. So it's going to be huge. I'm truly thankful for every single person that has the time to come to the event, that will be there with their flags and cheering for Mexico.
And one of your teammates is here, Diego Lopez. What's it like for you seeing him debut in the UFC and putting up those great performances he has thus far?
Well, I've seen his career for a long time. You know, we had a tough moments before getting in the UFC. I know what he's capable of. He's doing great, and I think you're looking his evolution. And of course, my evolution in my jiu-jitsu game, it's thanks for him.
En una en español, Alexa, obviamente este fin de semana va a ser la primera vez que la UFC tiene un evento en el Día de Independencia de México. Dana White ha dicho que están construyendo un PI en México. Como campeona indiscutible mexicana, ¿cómo se siente ver el avance mexicano en las artes marciales mixtas?
Obviously, Dana, first of all, the first ever event on Mexican Independence Day for the UFC, and also Dana White mentioned that it talks about the PI in Mexico right now. So how do you see the advancement of being the undisputed Mexican champion right now? How do you see the advancement of MMA in Mexico?
Bueno, para mí es algo muy importante todo lo que está sucediendo en México. Tenemos muchos guerreros. Ustedes saben que cuando un mexicano se sube a pelear deja absolutamente todo. Siempre damos unas guerras, no importa la adversidad, siempre estamos ahí luchando por todos nuestros sueños, por cumplir nuestras metas. Y eso habla de todos los resultados que se están ahorita dando para México. Estoy segura que con el PI, que con toda la ayuda que nos van a dar, tanto en nutrición, en terapia física, en entrenamiento, todo México va a cambiar muchísimo de los peleadores y va a ser un gran avance en la cultura mexicana en el MMA.
We have so many warriors right there. We always go to war. I mean, everybody knows that when a Mexican steps onto the octagon, that's what we're going to give. We're going to leave it all out there, and that speaks volumes for them. I mean, it speaks for the results that we've achieved. And I think that with all the help, with the PI, with nutrition, with physical therapy, with all the training, I think that you're going to see even more coming up.
Y obviamente el tema de la noche va a ser México y los peleadores mexicanos, pero tu oponente Valentina Shevchenko es ciudadana peruana. ¿Qué significa para ti ver dos mujeres que representan Latinoamérica ser pelea estelar en una cartelera grande?
And of course, being in a Mexican Independence Day and so much focus on Mexico, your opponent too represents Peru. So what do you think about two women representing Latin America to be in such a high stage?
Para mí es algo muy importante. Creo que es el deporte en el que más rápido las mujeres han crecido y evolucionado casi a la par de los hombres. Ahorita somos estelares, coestelares, las peleas realmente son muy emocionantes y que las dos representemos a Latinoamérica es algo muy grande para mí.
It's so awesome. It's just such a big thing. I mean, I think this is the sport that women have evolved the most and quickest and to the highest level of any other sport. If you think about it, we're in main cards, we're co-mains, and it's just to see us in a situation is just a very exciting. And we actually very exciting fights as well. So I'm very happy to have it.
Gracias.
Alexa, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. You hear professional athletes always say, you don't want to get too high with the highs, too low with the lows. 6 months into being the champion, how have you tried to maintain a level of hunger that you had before becoming a champ and sort of not letting that desire get away from you, not get too high on this high, and maintain the same level of competitiveness and drive that you had when you were a challenger?
Well, this is thanks to my team, my coaches. They are always, trying for me to always be focused, like, yeah, you're the champion, but you're just one more in the gym. You have to help your teammates. You have to evolve. You have to be every day here on time, do everything that we ask you to do and more. So I think the most important thing to be at this high level and to keep motivating and to keep the hunger and to do my best to evolve and to improve, it's thanks to my team and my coaches.
I'm not sure how much you pay attention to other sports, especially when you're training for a big card like this, but we're coming off the U.S. Open. Coco Gauff wins, right? The WNBA playoffs get started tonight, including here in Las Vegas. We have two incredible martial artists, if you will, getting ready for Saturday night. What does it feel like just to see the evolution of women athletes right now and you being a part of sort of the spotlight?
For me, it's huge. Like I said, of course, women started always after men in every single sport, but right now we are looking how much we are evolving. You know, our technique is better, our heart is better, we're a main event right now for Mexico, so this is huge for us. So it's really nice to be part of these elite athletes that are representing their country, their sport, their city, in every single sport we are competing.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Alexa, over here in the front. I noticed just a few minutes ago, you and Valentina were in the lobby together. Have you guys spoken at all? Has there been conversation since the last fight between the two of you?
No. We always say hi, for respect. We have respect for each other, but no, we didn't have a chat.
Is that something that you purposely avoid having conversations with your opponents and maybe wait till after, or what, is it just that it hasn't happened yet?
No, it hasn't happened yet.
Thank you.
Alexa, right here.
Right over here. Felicidades.
Gracias.
Big fights happening at flyweight. I was just wondering, what did you think of the victories for both Erin Blanchfield and Manon Fior?
Well, I'm super happy of flyweight division. This was the last weight class in the organization. Now we are giving a lot of results. Now we are having a lot of great athletes. I think they both have a great winning, and I'm happy for the division.
Do you care who would be the next title challenger?
Right now I'm focused on my fight this Saturday, but after, if everything goes like my plan, maybe on Saturday now we can talk about that.
I know it's not a competition, but do you think that your special belt is better than Yair's that he got earlier this summer?
No, it's made for the same person. I know them. I've been in this place where they do these pieces of art. So it's just another piece of art, and it's beautiful. And I'm just happy. And I think each one of them has their special meaning because every single patron in there has different expressions.
Final question. You've been in the UFC for a long time now. You've been a part of a lot of other stuff, the posters and everything that they make. The fans really like the poster for this fight. I'm wondering, is this your favorite also because it's got a lot of the Mexican, influence in it and everything?
Well, I think it has a lot of Mexican things, because of the importance of the date, of the people who's fighting in the card. So it has a lot of personality of every single Mexican fighter. So for me, yes, this is the best one.
Thank you.
Alexa, right here, to your left. Your influence is evident through you being on the cover of GQ for Mexico. You're headlining this event. For you, in looking at younger generations, not only in Mexico, but all around for MMA and women athletes, what is your message to the younger generations?
Well, that's always my goal. I've been always trying to be a good example for the next generation, especially for the girls. I would like them to see me as a guide. Of course, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I would like that with my example, they can notice that you can live working every single day doing what you love the most. You can change your life. You can have a better life, a better quality life, food experiences. So working hard and dear hard work has always been my hashtag. And I just hope that every single girl in the planet could learn MMA, defend themselves, and be strong physically and mentally.
Segueing from your hard work, going into the octagon, last fight it went your way. You got a lot of things done and did it the right way. For you, what are you trying to replicate and add on to get your hand raised on Saturday?
Well, of course, I love striking fights. And it was going pretty well on the striking department, but I did a lot of adjustments just in case she don't want to strike with me. But I'm excited too because she came back to Thailand to do Muay Thai again. So this excites me so much, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be an amazing fight.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
Alexa, right here. 6 months ago, you shocked the world. Not a lot of people gave you a chance, and you beat Valentina Shevchenko to become champion. Last week, nobody gave Sean Strickland a chance to be Israel Adesanya, and he did the same. Did you see a lot of yourself in what Sean did last week? Because everybody counted him out, everybody counted you out, and he emerged victorious, and you did the same thing.
Well, it's a tricky moment, when you have all the doubts, when you have everything against you. I think that motivates you. I think that that says you like, why are all these people thinking that I'm not capable if they don't know me, if they really aren't too deep in what I'm doing in my training. I'm super disciplined, and I'm pretty sure that he did that. You know, when you have a lot of doubts, it just motivates you a lot to give your best and to show like, hey, I'm capable and I'm here and I will earn it.
Do you still think you have something to prove on Saturday night, even though you are the champion? A lot of people think Valentina had a bad night. Are you here to prove that it wasn't a bad night? It was about your preparation.
Of course, you know, having to be the champion is the first step. You know, like climbing the first mountain. But once I have it, and I just turn my head and I just realize there's another big mountain to climb because I want to defend it. I wanted to keep it. I want to show how much I've been evolving all these months.
Last question for me. Valentina's on the cover of the EA UFC game. If you win and you defend this title, do you want to state the case that they made a mistake and that you should have been on the cover of the game?
No, I don't think they made a mistake. You know, we can't forget about everything she has done for the sport. She's a big star. You know, it's not like just a win quits you all the credit you have done. Just right now, I have to earn that. I have to have a lot of title defenses, and then after, I would hope that I can have my face in the cover of the game.
Alexa in the middle. Traditionally, Mexican Independence Day weekend had belonged to Canelo, and most recently he had headlined multiple cards at T-Mobile. Have you had any conversations with this camp yet? Have they reached out to at least congratulate you?
No, not yet. I'm not. He's super huge. He's someone that I admire so much. We're from the same city, but I hope that with my achievements and be winning, someday I could have a training with him.
As a follow-up to that question, do you allow yourself to have these moments sink in and actually celebrate what you've achieved? Because there's always something more. You're in a rematch, but do you just allow yourself to have the moments to appreciate what has happened so far for you?
As an elite athlete in combat sports, we know that we don't have much time. So right now, I'm celebrating coming back to the gym as soon as possible, to do rehabilitation, to heal all my injuries and come back the best way I can to the gym. So that's how I celebrate, because I don't know how many years I have left in the sport. I also have 30 years old right now, so I'm just trying to do the best I can with the years I have. So the best way to do it is training, doing my best, and then I will have the time enough to enjoy and celebrate and do everything I want.
Alexa, back here. This is your first rematch, and I'm just kind of curious, has there been a difference in your confidence going into this one, knowing that you can beat Valentina?
Well, of course. We also shared the octagon 20 minutes before. I know what she has. I felt her body. I felt her power. I felt everything that she can bring to the table. And that's why I prepared myself better. I did a lot of adjustments. My coaches did a lot of adjustments. So I know what I'm capable of, and I'll do my best to win again.
And just kind of touching on those adjustments a little bit, obviously you did very well in the striking against her, and maybe she did better on the ground than in the striking against you. And so I'm curious, how big of a focus was takedown and grappling defense in this camp particularly? A lot.
Of course, the striking is number one. Always. And jiu-jitsu and wrestling game is always improving. And this wasn't different. A lot of adjustments in the jiu-jitsu department.
Definitely. And I know you're obviously focused on this one, but you got this great achievement now, becoming a champion. I'm curious if you look ahead at all and think about, what's the next big goal? Like you said, you want to defend and do these things, but do you think about becoming a double champ or anything crazy extravagant for the next big kind of mountain to climb after this fight?
No, right now I'm focused just on 125. I want to have the most title defenses I can do.
All right, best of luck.
Thanks.
Alexa, back here in the back here. I was just kind of curious. It's been 19 years since Ronda Rousey made her UFC debut, and she's done so many wonderful things for the sport and becoming a champion and so forth. I'm kind of wondering, through the years, as you see the fighters today, how those skill sets have kind of changed among the fighters from then to today.
Well, we've seen a lot of changes. You know, the rules are different. I think that before it was more noticed when you had a striker versus a grappler, or a wrestler versus karate. Right now we have everything. It's not just one game plan. Now we have complete athletes. I think that's the most important difference now we have.
Alexa, gracias por tomar tiempo de hablar con la prensa.
Gracias.
Desde que te convertiste en campeona, ¿qué tanto ha cambiado tu vida? Claro, las cámaras no pueden captar todo, pero una historia que nos puedas contar de la gente que antes te dudó y ahora te dan abrazo, o las puertas que se te han abierto desde ser la reina de tu categoría.
Since you became a champion, obviously a lot of things have changed in your life. But we want to know what has changed in your life besides the fact that everything that you do is on camera right now, everything's seen. But can you tell us a story about, people that were with you along the way, people that came to you after you became a champion? So what has changed in your life, and a story you can tell us?
Pues mira, la verdad es que yo les digo, mi vida no cambió mucho, mi vida sigue siendo la misma, sigo siendo la persona, trato de mantenerme siempre simple, enfocada y entrenando, porque la fórmula que me trajo hasta este momento fue entrenar todos los días, 3 veces al día, todas las semanas, todos los meses, casi todo el año. Entonces creo que eso es lo más importante, ¿no? Mantenerte igual. Y acerca del trato de las personas, sí ha habido personas que me dicen, yo creía que ibas a perder, pero pues me demostraste lo contrario. Otras personas me dicen, gané muchísimo dinero. Las personas, pues yo creo que es lo más bonito, ¿no? Poderte ganar el corazón de esas personas que dudaban en ti sin decir nada y solamente demostrando tu trabajo.
In reality, my life hasn't changed much. I mean, I've been the same constant person, same thing in the gym. I mean, it's the formula that brought me here, that helped me achieve what I got to. So I'm there, training as much as I can, training 3 times a day, every week throughout the entire year. So I mean, you become a champion, you continue to do that to maintain yourself and to keep where you are. But also, it's so beautiful to actually see people. There are people that came to me and said, I doubted, I thought you were going to lose, but you won there, and you won. And I mean, my mind has changed, and some people said, I made money off of you. So it's so awesome to see that I was able to actually get the recognition and to conquer these people and just conquer their hearts and say, listen, I was able to change their perception.
Gracias. Y finalmente, para mí, ¿qué tan difícil es ahora o fácil posiblemente mantener esa disciplina? Porque es obvio que eres superestrella, pero poder separar eso de Alexa, la compañía, y Grasso, la que se va a mantener disciplina y continuar defendiendo su título.
And last question for me, how easy or how hard is it for you to continue with that consistency? How can you separate Alexa, the fighter, with Alexa, the personality, the star that's out there and has her obligations?
Pues mira, yo creo que eso es lo más bonito de todo, ¿no? En mi equipo tengo a mis maestros y a mis compañeros que siempre me recuerdan que es lo mismo, soy la misma persona, no hay diferencia en que si es una estrella o no es una estrella, no, soy una atleta que trabaja bien duro todos los días y eso es lo más importante, o sea, dejar al lado todo lo demás. Tú eres una atleta de alto rendimiento que estás aquí para dar lo mejor todos los días en la clase y en las competencias, y bueno, eso es lo que me mantiene ahí, lo que me mantiene enfocada y lo que me mantiene con tanta disciplina.
And that's the cool thing about my team. My team is there to remind me that I need to continue to be like that simple life. It's you're here. They keep me focused. You're going to continue to do what you did. You're a high-performance athlete now. You have to be in the gym at all times. You have to be with us all the way. So the team has been able to keep me focused on the task at hand.
Gracias, felicidades con todo lo que has logrado y suerte el sábado.
Gracias.
Alexa, un par en español. No te pregunté, ¿qué te pareció el cinturón? Si nos puedes dar un review del cinturón.
A question for you in Spanish. What did you think of this belt now that you've been able to actually see it?
Es la primera vez que lo veo así en persona, ya lo había visto en fotos. No quería preguntarles a los artistas qué significa cada patrón, me quería esperar hasta después de la pelea, pero les voy a preguntar qué significa cada uno de esos patrones tan bonitos que tiene. De verdad está impresionante, no podrías creer que está hecho a mano de lo bonito que está. es una obra de arte súper bonita. Me encanta y me encanta, me encanta.
I had never seen it in person. I only saw it in pictures. Then I really wanted to actually ask the artists about the patterns that you see here because they're so beautiful. I mean, I wanted to ask after the fight, but I really want to know what each of those patterns mean. But it's so beautiful. I mean, it's really it's amazing. Each and every single one of them. I know that's it's made by hand, so it's truly a beautiful work of art, and I love it. Love it.
¿Te enorgullece ver los colores de tu cultura en el cinturón de UFC?
And of course, the pride of seeing all the colors of your culture in a UFC belt.
Sí, me deja muy emocionada, estoy muy contenta y más que nada por lo que ya les mencionaba, ¿no? México está creciendo muchísimo en el deporte y creo que estas son señales de lo bien que vamos los mexicanos.
Brings me a lot of emotion, of course, very happy. And as I said, I mean, this speaks volumes for everything as Mexico's been doing and for what have we accomplished in bringing here, and I mean, the worth of all Mexicans in MMA.
Y este evento es especial, es la primera vez que UFC celebra la independencia de México, ¿no? De esta manera. ¿Crees que ya México está en una posición para tener talento y hacer esto una tradición, algo que veamos anualmente, fin de semana de independencia de México? Evento de UFC celebrando el talento mexicano.
And of course, the first ever event on Mexican Independence Day for the UFC. Do you think that Mexico has gotten to a point right now, the amount of talent, the amount of recognition that it deserves, that you should have this as a consistent and constant event every year?
Es la meta.
That's the goal.
Oye, y rapidito, mencionaste a Canelo. Canelo ha peleado en Guadalajara. Me imagino que ese es un sueño también de llevar un evento a Guadalajara, a tu ciudad.
You mentioned Canelo. Canelo has fought in Guadalajara. I imagine that's a dream of yours to actually fight in Guadalajara.
Claro que sí, claro que creo que con mi trabajo tengo que seguir haciéndolo mucho mejor y mi meta y mi sueño es poder llevar un día la UFC a Guadalajara.
Of course, and I think one of my goals is actually to continue to improve, get better, to one day bring the UFC to Guadalajara.
Gracias.
Jack, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you feeling in this fight week?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's good to be back in Vegas. I feel acclimatized to the time, and yeah, I'm looking forward to a good showing on Saturday night.
Yeah, and co-main event, right? That's nice. How do you feel about getting that slot?
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, like it's nice to get that slot on like a event with the crowd. Haven't fought at T-Mobile, so I look forward to it. It's going to be a cool experience.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a quick turnaround, right? We can say.
Yeah, pretty quick. I was planning on fighting in Sydney, but it just didn't work out. But yeah, I was planning on turning around pretty quickly after the last fight, so it worked out in the end.
You feel like you're kind of trying to make up for some lost time given some of the things that happened earlier in the year?
No, I'm just sort of, I've always wanted to fight consistently, so I'm just going to try and keep up a consistent routine and schedule and keep it going.
Yeah. And how was it to see, you know, fellow Australians and people from the Oceania region fight at UFC 293 and you're not getting the chance? Was it tough?
No, not really. You know, I was lucky enough to fight in Australia at the start of the year, but it obviously would have been nice to save a bit of travel. But yeah, I feel like it was a pretty good event, and all the fighters put on good fights. So it was entertaining, and yeah, it definitely got me pumped up for this weekend.
Yeah. And what do you make of Kevin Holland? And also, is this somebody that you had in your radar? Did you feel like a fight with him was coming sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I did. I thought possibly by the end of the year I might fight him before the last fight, just from how everything was playing out. And so I think it's a good fight. I think he's a good fighter. He's got unpredictable style. It's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Have you ran into him at all this fight week? I know it just started, but he seems to sometimes engage with his opponents. I don't know if you have.
Nah, I haven't yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
What are you expecting from him? Because he can sometimes, you know, get a little bit of a rivalry going. He can be very cool. He's a bit of a wild box, let's say.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what to expect. I don't really care. You know, I'm coming to fight, so whatever happens leading up to it happens, but there's definitely going to be the time for fighting, so just waiting for that.
Yeah. And this is Noche UFC celebrating the Mexican Independence Day on September 16th. Obviously, you're not Mexican, but you do have some sort of a connection. Obviously, you're a great boxer, and given Mexico's history with boxing, wondering if you have any appreciation for Mexican culture and being on this card as well.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Mexican boxers. There's been some legendary ones, and yeah, I plan on getting into the inside and fighting in Mexican style.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jack, over here. When you look at the welterweight landscape, there hasn't been a title fight officially booked yet, and some of the top-ranked guys haven't fought in a while. Do you see this as a bigger opportunity for someone like yourself to go out there Saturday night, make a statement, and catapult yourself in the rankings and ultimately get you closer to the top?
I think so. I think a good win over Kevin Holland will get me into a nice spot to fight one of the top contenders.
And you mentioned there your thoughts on Kevin Holland, but did you catch that fight against Chiesa, and if so, what did you make of it?
I think it was easy. I don't think, by the looks of it, I don't think Chiesa really showed up, in my opinion.
And you also said that you're excited to finally fight at T-Mobile. What's that like? Are you going to be walking out to AC/DC now that it's back in an arena?
Yeah, I've got some cranking AC/DC to get me pumped up to fight.
And what would you say was your biggest takeaway from that Basile Hafez fight back in July that'll help you get that win Saturday night?
Just there was some small details. I think I made some mistakes during the fight, which is, I think it's important to make the right decisions in the fight to get the win. So, but it was nice to just like get 3 rounds in, push the pace a bit. Know that I felt like I was down in the fight and I had to sort of step it up the last few rounds. So it was good to overcome that.
And what's your message for all the fans from back home that are going to be tuning into your fight?
Yeah, I just hope. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to perform for the fans. It's what it's about at the end of the day, and yeah, just put on a good performance, a good fight that they can remember for a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jack. Is it safe to say you're the Australian Canelo?
Yeah, that's it.
I guess how. Did you have a lot of the toxic MMA fans in your mentions talking about that Basile Hafez fight?
What was the question, sorry?
Did you have a lot of toxic MMA fans in your comments and your mentions DMing you about your last fight?
Yeah, of course. You know, I think it's fair play. You know, this is the sport for the fans, and I think they all have the right to their opinions. So didn't really bother me, and I felt like it wasn't a good performance, so fair play.
Is it going to be nice to shut them up this weekend?
It's hard to shut them up, you know. I feel like they're always going to be talking, but I don't really mind. It doesn't really bother me. I think it's just the way the sport is.
And then finally, obviously the Dana White's Contender Series is back right now. You got your contract off of that. Just how important was that show to you?
Yeah, it was very important. That was a pretty cool experience. Definitely one of my favorite fights I've had. It was a good introduction into the UFC, and since that, I always tune in and watch the Contender Series as a fan.
Did you see Kevin Jusay call you out after his win last week?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that, but yeah, I'd definitely run it back with Kevin any day, anywhere.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Hey, Jack, right here to your left. I just want to ask real quick. You mentioned Sydney. Why did it fall through? Was it on your end, or is it just the card was too booked, or what had happened there?
No, I was ready to go. I think like a lot of the fighters didn't want to travel all the way to Sydney to get whooped. So fair enough.
There you go. Thank you.
I know the focus is fully on Kevin Holland, but when you look at those welterweight rankings, is there a specific name that raises your eyebrow a little bit that you'd like to fight with in the future?
To be honest, all of them. I look at all of them. I think they all raise my eyebrows. I look at all of them as potential future matchups. So really, any one of them, if I got given them to fight, I'd be very happy and excited.
Have you entertained any talks with Joaquin Buckley? I know a different division, all that, but like now he's back at welterweight, but he's been tagging you in a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Yeah, obviously I'm trying to fight people in front of me, but one day hopefully he can get into the top 15, and I'd definitely fight him one day if it all works out well.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Estoy acá solo por el caso de que te hagan una pregunta en español para traducir a toda la gente. ¿Ok?
¿Está bien? Está bien.
Valentina, over here. This is your first fight week as not champion, so I'm just curious, what's that been like walking around sort of without the belt? Has it been weird? Has it been motivating? Do you feel like a contender again? How do you feel about this fight week?
Different, I would not say that, because fight is fight. It's kind of like you have to do all the same in the cage. In the octagon, you have to perform the best what you have, right? And speaking about fight nights, I have very good score fighting on the fight nights. All my main event in the fight nights, I was very successful. So for me, it's another like good thing.
And looking back at March, I'm guessing you've gotten a chance to review the footage and stuff, and you've mentioned how you made a critical error that cost you the fight. Can you just give us your thoughts on that performance and that moment? Do you still feel like it came down to just making a crucial mistake that costed you the fight?
So first of all, like watching fight back, I would say I was winning all the fight from first to the fourth round, like except the last moment of the first round. And another thing, like right now, what is my mindset and my like focus? I won't go back to the March. I won't go back and thinking about like what happened there. I did it already. I did it through all my training camp. I did it like for all these months. And right now, I'm a person who is motivated, who is like get rid of that feelings what it was back then in the March. I am very like determined what I have to do this Saturday. That's why it's my mindset. It's never like watch back, because everything what I had to take from the fight I already took. Now with all this like strong energy, positive energy, like no mercy, go to the end, I will step into Saturday.
Yeah. And you say no mercy. Do you feel like you're entering this fight a lot more ruthless, out to make it definitive this time more than the one before?
I would say I have no choice.
Do you feel like, if you say you have your no choice, do you feel like this is maybe your last opportunity at regaining the belt?
No,
or why do you
I
feel
don't
like you
say
have no
that is the last opportunity, but the position what I am right now, I have no choice for the any like sentimental things. It's like, it's no time for that. It's like, it's a fight. And in this fight, I have to be like very, like just go without any step back. Just only forward, always forward.
Yeah. And I know that you like to travel and mix things up with your training camp. If you can give us some insight as to how did your preparation for Noche UFC looked?
It looked amazingly strong. It looked amazing. I was training for 3 months in Tiger Muay Thai gym. I had amazing training partners. Last 10 days, like 2 weeks I'm spending here at my home in Las Vegas, and I have amazing training partners as well from Andrade Muay Thai, local here Las Vegas, from Smiley Academy. They came from Florida to support me, and yeah, just like with all these people around me, I feel I'm stronger than ever.
Yeah. Is there an emphasis or an area that you focused on that you feel like is going to be key for Saturday?
Everything.
Everything?
It's MMA. There is no one thing. It's like many fights that we could watch, and you could see like fighters, they focus on grappling, but sometimes they just land with a strike and they kind of like confused. So that's why in MMA you just cannot focus on one thing. You have to focus on everything.
Yeah. And this is obviously an immediate rematch. If you win, you guys are going to be tied up one-on-one. Do you feel like there's going to be a trilogy between you and Alexa?
You know, for me right now, I'm not thinking about like anything further this Saturday. For me, there is only one day that it's like my future. It's Saturday, September 16, and this is only one fight. After that, yeah, I will think about whatever it's like coming to my mind. But right now, only this day, only this victory.
And you'll be fighting on September 16th, which is Mexican Independence Day. We know that you're very fond of the Hispanic culture. You've lived in Latin America. Hablas muy bien español también. So just wanted to get your opinions on fighting on, I know you're not Mexican, but fighting on that date that's special to Latin America, a place that's near and dear to your heart.
It's a huge celebration for the country, and I have so many friends in Mexico. I have so many friends in all Latin America, in Peru, in Brazil, Argentina, and every part. Yes, definitely. I go with all my heart to fight on that night, and as I mentioned, after I win, we're gonna celebrate all together.
And I'll add one more. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of Hispanics are also supporting you, especially obviously Peru, since you have a really close connection there. Do you almost feel like people may see it as you're entering enemy territory because it is Mexican Independence Day and you're fighting a Mexican? But do you feel like that's not going to be the case, that you're also going to have a big part of the Hispanic crowd in your favor?
It's never the case. Through all my career, I had amazing fan base, amazing people who supports me all over the Latin countries, all Spanish-speaking people, and every time was very strong in my heart. And it's never the case. I fight in my home. I fight in Las Vegas, and no matter what's happening outside of the octagon, inside of in the octagon there is only 2%, and this is what is matter.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Over here. Obviously, there's going to be a big Latin American presence this weekend. Like we just mentioned, you have a Latin American connection by way of Peru. How has it been like for you as you see Peru advance in the mixed martial arts community, as you continue to see more Peruvian fighters reach the top and enter the UFC?
It's amazing. It's kind of show how people develop, how they work on their skills, and no matter how hard is that, if you put all your heart in what you are doing and you are truthful to your way in the life, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna be everything successfully, and it's everything what is matter. It's continue your journey, continue do what you are think this is right things. And I'm speaking not only when you're in this moment you are saying this is the right thing and you do that. In 5 minutes later, oh, maybe it's not right, I switch to that. No, strong person has to have one way, and they can take the best from everything to make it even stronger and even better. And this is if you continue your journey in the one way, taking the best from everything, this is what kind of key for success.
And back to the fight this weekend, I know you just touched up a bit on your mindset going into this. How differently do you approach this fight mentally, knowing that your opponent is going to be the person that took the belt from you last time out?
No, it's nothing changed. It's kind of same person. It's whatever happened, it's happened, and I don't care what it's was. Yes, definitely, it's not the best situation for me. It's changed, but in the fight, there is your skills against her skills, and I know that happened not because she's better than me. It's happened because it's happened, because it's MMA. And I know exactly if I do fight as I supposed to fight, as I did all these years when I fought, it's gonna be amazing fight. And this is my goal, to show amazing fight, to go there, destroy my opponent, take the belt, and go back home.
And one more from me. Just want to get your thoughts on what you think is going on in the rest of the flyweight division, right? A lot of contenders emerging. It seems like it's shaping up to be one of the more exciting divisions in the promotion. What are your thoughts on everything that's going on in your division right now?
I was saying this all time long, and I was saying that the flyweight is going to be the future of female division. It's the most exciting fighters, more interesting fights to watch, and now finally people accept that, because it's kind of I feel something new, and people start to oh, maybe it's not like that. It happens the same with the belt, right? When it was all belt in 2019, I think in 2019 UFC presented new version of the belt, and some people they said oh no, we the old better, but now no one can imagine there was another belt. Everyone used to see this belt, and everyone accepts this belt. This happens the same with the flyweight division. When it's just created, all people start to say, oh, this, that. It's bantamweight is stronger, strawweight is more interesting, but now with time pass, they finally agree to accept the flyweight is the best female division.
Actually, just one more from me. What's the message you have for your fans that are tuning in from all over the world to see you, hopefully for your case, get the belt back?
I just want to say thank you very much for everyone who supports me, to everyone who believes me, to everyone who sending me the best energy, the messages they send me all over the world. And this fight night, this Saturday night, we're gonna fight all together, and we're gonna take this belt.
Valentina, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. You obviously, we're all seeing you're pretty focused for Saturday. How long did it take for you to sort of forget? You keep saying what's done is done, it's in the past, but that was it. You mentioned that you felt you were winning all 4 rounds right up until that moment. How long did it take for you to get over the loss mentally, get refocused, and get in this state of mind?
It's kind of like forget, but you never forget. It's will be with you all the time. But the most important, how you can step forward, how you can turn it into your side, in your powerful side. And what is for me, I don't know. I just was blessed to have my team, my family around me, my coach Pavel, my sister Antonina, my mom, all my training partners, all people who around me, they believe in me. And if they believe in me, how dare I am not believe in me?
And last one for me, I asked Alexa this too. On a wide spectrum for professional women athletes, we just saw the World Cup in soccer. Coco Gauff just went to the U.S. Open. Tonight, the WNBA playoffs open here. You ladies are the headliners. As part of the spotlight in professional women's sports, how special is it right now as far as what we're seeing, widespread exposure for all professional women athletes?
I think it's very important because now we can speak and people, they are listening. But the most important is that we share the right words with the world, because we are female fighters. We fight the same way what is male fighters do. We train the same way, but we will always be like men and women, right? It's kind of obvious, because me personally, I'm not pretend be stronger than a man. I not pretend that I can beat any man in my weight class or something like that. No, I do martial arts because I love it, because I feel this is my passion, because this is, and I very love to see another girls who do the same way, not because they wanna prove to something to someone. No, just because they feel good and they can do strong things, but with the touch of feminine, the feminine touch. And this is even more gonna be beautiful for the sport, even for this dangerous and hard sport. But when we are female fighters fighting, we show the different, a different touch of the fight. And this is the beauty of this sport.
Hey, Valentina. There's a theory, because of your dominance, that you overlooked your last 2 opponents, Talia Santos and Alexa Grasso. I was just wondering if there's any truth to that.
Not at all. It's not about me. It's kind of yes, definitely when you are successful for so many years, it's kind of affect you in some way, but it doesn't mean that you kind of me thinking about my opponents, oh, it's going to be easy test or something like that. I never like that. I never said anything bad about my opponents. I never said they are I don't have to train for them or something like that. I know it's a fight and everything can happen. And fighting with the best girls who are competing in the world, it's every time dangerous, and it's kind of you just do your things and compete to prove that you are the best. And yes, I had tough challenges, but I passed them. And yes, they could fight back. For example, Taila Santos, she could do something, but it's not enough for the victory, and this is what it's matter.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. And then finally, Amanda Nunes retired. Are you bummed that you'll never get to fight her for the trilogy?
First of all, it's kind of like Amanda. She's an amazing fighter. She did amazing thing in the sport, and I feel that many people they kind of like starting to judge a little bit to say like, oh, she's retired or something like that. But I want to say no one has the right to judge a fighter who did that much, right? Definitely me being her opponent, and I feel like we kind of like tied with her every time she's being asked about me, I'm being asked about her. And yes, definitely, I think our second fight, she didn't win. I think I won that fight. Many people think the same. And what I can say right now, if in the future sometimes she will feel kind of like she rested, she refocused, she feels she want to come back, I still plan to be around. So we still maybe will have this opportunity.
Thank you.
Valentina right here. Valentina, Alexa got a special belt for fighting on Mexican Independence Day. You've obviously been champion a long time and did not get a belt. Does your ego ever get bothered by something like that, or is it just what it is? They gave Alexa a special belt.
Tell me how many champions got the special belt beside Alexa?
Only one other, Yair.
So everyone should feel the same way as what you asked?
I don't know. Some people may have more ego, some it doesn't matter as much. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say that no matter what, if she got a special belt in this Independence Day, it's good for her, but it doesn't mean anything else.
I was watching your vlog where you preview, inside of your training camp. You talked about wanting to do more acting. You've always talked about, James Bond being multifaceted. Can I ask, have you thought about being the female John Wick?
It could be another option. I feel like personally more tied to James Bond because the character of the person is kind of like, I would say in 2 words, a person who knows everything, who know how to deal with the guns, who know how to shoot, how to drive a car, drive airplanes, motorcycles, boats, kind of like no situation, it's very dangerous for him, and I feel more tied to this character, and yeah, but John Wick, he is kind of like pretty, very, very close.
And then my final question, after the fight, will you be spending more time playing video games now that you're on the cover of the UFC game?
I'm very honored to be cover of UFC game. It's a huge motivation for me. Second female fighter who is on the cover of UFC fight game, and it's very inspirational thing for me. But from other side, for me, there is no after the fight at this moment. There is like everything for me. It's in the fight.
Thank you,
Valentina. During this camp and actually coming in here this week, do you feel more like you're the challenger, or you still have that connection to being a champion? Are you in here with champion mentality?
I cannot get rid about my nature. I cannot get rid. I'm not challenger. I'm, yes, in this situation, but I just cannot get rid of 17 times World Muay Thai Championship, 7 title defense in UFC. I just cannot throw it away. It would be like bad for any person who would like turn it different way. I know who I am. I know how strong I am. I know how dangerous I can be. And this is everything I will turn into my side for the Saturday.
Kind of related to that, you've never been a fighter who would come in and be super concerned with your persona and your brand. You just are who you are. But today, you really look reflective of someone who's coming in military fatigues. Do you have the mentality that you have to go to war on Saturday night?
In a certain way, it might be like that, but I'm not wearing today anything special. This is how you will see me like every day, mostly days, if I'm not dressed up for some events. So it's kind of like I'm just bringing my personality today. I'm bringing my like how I feel comfortable.
final question for me. It's well known that your mom is a competitor, and she has a very unique perspective of you as a fighter, having been there herself. Could you share maybe something she said to you after the last fight, just kind of like some mother-daughter advice that she gave you?
In my case, it's very hard to say mother-daughter because I was starting to practice martial arts at the age 5 years old, and every time my mom, she is my mom, but she is more like a coach. She's more like a strong person, and she never like let her sentimental things go out, and I'm not used to see her like that, and it was very constructive discussion. She said like, okay, this is what you can do like better, this is what you can focus more, and we are not very sentimental like in my family. We just don't like it, we just don't accept that. And I know for maybe it's weird too much, or it sounds too much, I'm sorry, it sounds too much, but I feel that we don't do ballet, we don't do dancing, we are not like in other sports, we are in very like hard sport, MMA sport. That's why kind of like you just cannot let all these sentimental things get into your heart, especially before the fight.
Valentina, you've had rematches before, but does this rematch feel different at all just because of how the first fight ended compared to your other rematches you've had?
I would say there is no comparison between rematches, even between fights, even between fights with the same opponent. It's every time gonna be the new history, the new chapter. And it's not only because of the fight, but also because how you approach to the fight. What is your mental condition right now at this moment? What is your training camp have been? What you ate, what you sleep, how you think? It's gonna be every time different. That's why for me it's new fight, new history, completely new everything.
You know, you've accomplished so much in your career, been there, done that, you know, won all these fights, had all these titles, like you said. Did it ever cross your mind at all after the loss to just call it a career there, or was it just too much motivation to get back in?
I remember like next day, no, not Sunday, Monday, I already was like texting my manager, Jennifer, and saying like, please reach out to UFC and say I'm ready to step back and like continue to fight and have another fight. So yeah, never, not even once thought like I didn't think about something else, only fight.
Awesome. And I know that, you know, everything comes down to Saturday. You're not at all looking ahead, but I'm just curious in the grand scheme, like when you started your career and stuff, like how long did you imagine fighting for? Did you think it would just be one of those things where you went as long as you possibly could until you couldn't fight anymore? Or were you like, once I'm 40, did any of those thoughts happen once you started your fighting career in general?
It's gonna be too silly for me to say like just making up some age, or like it's gonna be, oh, she doesn't know what she's saying. I hope to fight as long as I can, as long as my health will allow me, as long as my power and desire will allow me. But I really hope to continue this journey as long as I can.
Of course, best of luck.
On the personal level, after you've been on top, and you're still up there, but after you've been on top, have you noticed since you lost the last fight, a change in people around you, maybe not your family, but the way people treat you? Has there been any kind of, maybe it's subtle, maybe it's not so subtle, but can you feel a vibe from people that it's changed and how they view you?
Interesting, but I felt that. I felt that in other way. I felt more people supporting me. I feel more people cheering for me. More people wanna watch me. It's kind of like interesting. It's supposed to be the other way, right? But it's been what it's happening right now, and like yes, this is what I feel. It's kind of like huge this support from the people. What I feel coming into this fight.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Valentina, gracias por tomar tiempo con la prensa. Hablaste sobre ahí un poquito en inglés, o sea que en español, por favor. Ese apoyo que recibiste en la última pelea, no fue claro el resultado que deseas, pero ¿cómo se sintió cuando la gente te apoyó y estuvo ahí por usted? Porque sabemos que cuando uno se enferma o pierde la vida, en verdad sabe quién es su amigo y quién no es.
In Spanish now, of course, you're talking about the support that you got from people. It wasn't the result that you expected, but how was it for you? How did you feel to get that support? Because, you know, in illness or defeat, that's when you usually find out who loves you.
It was amazingly strong. It was, en español, you switched me. De verdad es algo que yo siento que me motiva mucho. Y todo este apoyo que yo tengo de la gente es muy importante para mí. Y como yo recién respondí la pregunta, que me siento este apoyo en doble, más que había antes de esta derrota. Y es increíblemente, no sé por qué así se pasa, pero ahora me siento mucho más como querida del público. Y esto que valoro mucho, valoro cada uno, agradezco a cada persona que me motiva, que me manda así buenas vibras. Y quiero decir, es muy importante para mí y quiero agradecer a cada uno. Muchas gracias por esta energía que me han dado.
It has been motivating for me and so important, and it's something that propels me to go forward. I would say I feel like I don't know why this happens, but it feels like I have double the support that I have, and I value that so much. I value that every single person that's been around. It's very invaluable for me to have that, and I would like to thank everyone for actually giving me that support.
Y finalmente, para mí, personalmente, te podemos preguntar, después de esa noche, ¿pudiste relajarte un poco o poder tener un poquito de mejor descanso o decir, ok, ya podemos poner esto en pausa? Porque siempre has estado ahí para el UFC, defendiendo tu corona noche tras noche tras noche, y tiene que ser impactante en tu vida profesional y personal. Pero pudo un poquito de algo bueno, por poder decir, ok, así me puedo relajar y alejarme de esto por un rato y poder vivir mi vida sin preocuparme de ser una de las más importantes en el UFC.
And finally, for me, after your last fight, were you able to actually step back, rest a little bit, and think about things? Because you've always been out there so active, defending your crown, fight after fight after fight. And were you able to at least there was a positive out of this, that you were able to step back, rest, and say, and step away from it, just kind of to see, okay, this is what I need to do going forward, but you were able to step away from who you've always been, one of the most important people in UFC history?
Yo prefiero descansar con el cinturón. Sin cinturón no hay descanso para mí.
I prefer to rest with a belt. Without a belt, there's no rest for me.
Gracias, Valentina, y buena suerte el sábado.
Muchas gracias.
Valentina, rápidamente un par de preguntas para los fans hispanos. Si nos puedes comentar en español lo que me decías en inglés, que entras a Noche UFC con una mentalidad de no mostrar piedad. Háblanos un poquito de esta mentalidad que entras para este evento.
If you could please comment for all the fans out there in Spanish, where there's a mentality that you're coming into Noche UFC without any mercy, with that kind of mentality. Can you please elaborate on that?
Quiero decir que ahora estoy, mi meta principal, mi focus para esta pelea es solamente ir, entrar al octágono, mostrar todo lo mejor de mí, porque he tenido un campamento increíblemente fuerte y así con toda la fuerza, con toda energía, solamente ir adelante, ni un paso atrás, adelante siempre. No pensar sobre quién está esperando algo de mí o algo quiere que yo haga estas cosas, a otras cosas. No, solamente dejar mi corazón en el octágono. Esto es lo más importante para mí.
I just want to say that I want to have the mentality of just after such a strong, one of the strongest camps I've ever had, I want to go and step into the octagon and show the best that I can bring. Always pushing forward, always pressing, never stepping back, never backpedaling on any challenges, and showing everyone I'm here for it, and this is what I can show to everyone and show my best.
¿Y qué crees que tienes que hacer esta pelea diferente para cambiar el resultado el sábado?
And what do you think you need to do in this fight different from before to change the result?
Diferentemente, no creo que tengo que cambiar algo. Estrategia la misma, velocidad superior, fuerza superior. Entonces, con estos ajustes, yo creo que sería suficiente.
Differently, I don't think I have to change many things. It's just it's strength, more agility and speed, more better strategy. Strategy doesn't change. I don't think there wouldn't be anything besides better.
Y esta es una pelea bien grande para las artes marciales mixtas hispanas. Obviamente, pues tú vienes de otra parte del mundo, pero has representado muy bien a Perú y tienes lazos muy grandes a Latinoamérica. Si le puedes mandar un mensaje a la gente hispana que pues que está viendo dos peleadoras hablando de español en un evento estelar de UFC, si puedes mandarle un mensaje a esa gente que los va a estar apoyando el sábado.
And such a special night for the UFC, the first Latin American themed night. You obviously, you're not from Latin America, but you represented Peru so well. What is this message? Can you please give a message to all the Spanish-speaking fans out there? What does this mean, and how special is this night? You being in a main event for the night.
Quiero agradecer a cada uno, a cada persona que me está apoyando, con toda esta fuerza que me están brindando, con la energía que me están mandando, con todo este apoyo. Yo voy a entrar al octágono y hacer las cosas increíblemente bien para ganar mi cinturón otra vez y para continuar a crear mi historia en artes marciales.
I want to thank all the support and all the strength that you've given me, the vibes and the energy that you've given me, that I'm going to go on Saturday and get into Octagon and just do incredible things to continue to create history in this sport.
Thank you so much.
Blow up, huh? Yeah. Another famous page, 48 million followers, I think on my Instagram, and I post my video again. Nice. There's some pages that wanted to post it, but I already submitted it to Barstool Sports, so because I submitted it to them, they can't post that yet. Where's my video? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Don't let anybody get So Alex?
So fight week, talk to me. How are you feeling? How are the emotions?
Emotions are the emotions are all right. Feel pretty good, pretty calm. Fight week's going all right. You know, it's always boring, but I try to stay busy, try to keep it as exciting as I can. You know, and plus this part's more about making weight. You know, after I make the weight, then I start thinking about the fight. You know.
What's so boring about it?
It's just a lot of waiting around. You know, you're in Vegas with all these things to do, but you can't really eat much. You know, you can't do anything fun. all I can do is drink water, eat what they give me, and but yeah, that's pretty much. And then you're just hungry, low energy, and a lot of just like chilling, thinking, and whatnot. But yeah, it's just, to me, it's always just a lot of waiting around. But I'm glad I got the corners with me this week. I feel like it's gonna be a lot more fun.
Can you give us a breakdown of your opponent? How do you think the fight's gonna go down? Where do you see yourself having advantages?
My thoughts on my opponent, I think he's very talented. I still think he's just, he's young, and there's a lot of room for improvement. But I think I match up really well with him because I'm well-rounded. I'm good everywhere. I feel like anywhere the fight goes, I'd have the advantage. I feel like I'm the stronger puncher. My ground game's going to be better. My wrestling's going to be better. So I think it's a great matchup,
So you're saying you feel like he's kind of green?
A little bit. Like I said, he's very talented. He's very technical on the feet. But, I guess I was his age when I first got signed with the UFC. And I made a lot of mistakes, you know what I mean? So I feel like there's a lot of mistakes to be made by him. And I think I'm going to be able to expose that.
And this card is obviously celebrating Mexican Independence Day, Mexican talent here in the UFC. So there's an expectation that there's going to be a lot of Hispanics, a lot of Mexican Americans in the crowd. Do you feel like you're going to be fighting enemy territory, even though this is Las Vegas, this is the U.S.?
Pretty much, yeah, a little bit. That's what I'm expecting. So, but it's okay. It's nothing I haven't experienced before. I fought in Russia against a Russian. I fought in Brazil against Brazilians. I fight in Sweden, Australia. I'm a Spartan. I go to people's land, I take over. I love to disappoint, so it's all good.
So you're actually enjoying this? Like you feel like
Yeah.
you thrive under this scenario?
Oh, absolutely. I like being the underdog. I like being the person the crowd's going against because for some reason it fires me up. It fires me up because I grew up always wanting to prove people wrong, and that's what I get to do this Saturday night.
Thank you.
Over here.
Christos? Hey.
What's up, Amy?
You mentioned fighting in Brazil and Russia. Which one was a little bit, which fans were more shocking to you?
Actually, the Brazilian fans, to be honest. The Russians, they're just very quiet. Just a lot of mean mugging. But the Brazilians, they talk to you, they yell at you. It's kind of fun. But I would say the Brazilians are a little more chaotic.
And you're coming off a really great performance. Does that give you an extra boost of confidence going into this fight, or is there extra pressure? Like now, I gotta deliver that again.
No, it gives me a lot more confidence. I've always knew I had knockout power, and I have a lot of knockouts and things it just gave me a lot more confidence in my hands that I can put people down, and I feel like I'm gonna be able to do that this Saturday night.
Did you want to come back a little bit sooner? I know it's been about 5 months, I think. Was that a good amount of time, or did you want to come back quicker?
No, I actually wanted to do it sooner. I wanted to do a quick turnaround because I was in shape, and I had my honeymoon scheduled for August 17th, so I had to move that in order to take this fight. So I did that. So I get to go to my honeymoon now. Next Thursday, we leave to Greece.
Are you going to do something extra special since you had to put it off?
No, same old. But maybe I'll buy my wife something a little special after this fight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was over here. When you compare you and your opponent, the experience advantage is on your side. How important is your fighting experience in this fight as you face a younger and less experienced guy on this big stage?
I think it's very important. I think it gives me a huge advantage. I've been in there with the best in the world, literally. So. I've made my mistakes, and I've grown from them. I learned from them, so I think it gives me a huge advantage. And I just think overall it kind of makes me a little smarter in the cage because I've made those mistakes, and so I know how to capitalize not making them again. I've learned from my past, so I think it gives me a huge advantage.
And like you mentioned there, obviously fans may not be on your side given what occasion it is, but it is like the first time you're back in a sold-out crowd in a good amount of time. How's that like?
I'm excited. I can't wait. It doesn't matter if the fans are for me or against me. Just having them in the crowd, it fires me up. It gives me a new kind of energy, And it's been 2 years since I fought in the crowd. Last time I fought in the crowd, I got a performance bonus, and I expect to do that again this time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Christos, you playing laser tag at all?
We're thinking about it tomorrow night. We'll see. I'm gonna go rent a car today and kind of see where the wind blows. You know, where what tomorrow takes me, where it takes me.
Is laser tag the best base of weight cutting?
Absolutely. You know, you sweat, you run, you're having fun, you get to lose a little weight while enjoying the time.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time, my man. You look in good spirits. You look like you're enjoying the whole thing. How soon did you guys get in, and were you able to use the PI at all? How's the experience been in Las Vegas thus far?
It's been all right. No, I got back. I got in yesterday around 3 o'clock. I just handled all the stuff. I had like signing posters and check in with the UFC and find out what I got to do. But I was a little tired, a little jet lagged, so I called it. I had an early night last night, and then we're gonna go to the PI tonight and start the training and the recovery and all that.
Excellent. And last for me, win or lose, we've seen you in some great fights. I think you guys mesh up very well together, and fight of the night is not out of the question. But where do you see yourself ending up once you can eat and do what you want post-fight? Like, where are you heading first?
Where am I heading first? I'll probably get a burger at Shake Shack. I love burgers, so it's kind of a ritual after my fights. I usually try to get a burger, and then I'm just gonna hang out. I got a bunch of friends and family coming down to come see me fight. They're going to the fight, so just have some fun and enjoy my time with them.
Excellent. Thank you, sir, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Hey, Christos, right back here.
What's going on?
What's up, man? Christos, being in the UFC for a minute, a lot of fighters, they work to get to this level, right? You want to be in the big show and everything else, but the work doesn't stop. In terms of your skills, what are you most proud of that you have improved since you've been in the UFC?
I think it would be my ability to feel comfortable on the feet. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable being in there. Before, I came as a wrestling base, and I got good grappling, so I always look to take it to the ground. And even though I still might do that, I feel a lot more confident in the feet, and I wouldn't mind if it stays on the feet. It doesn't matter to me. So I feel just with my experience in octagon time, I just feel that I'm just a lot more confident and comfortable staying on the feet.
Thank you.
Raul, welcome to Fight Week. How are you feeling?
I feel good, just ready and excited.
Obviously, you went through your first loss as a pro last time out. Is there anything that you learned from that fight that will help you get back in the win column this time around?
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of mistakes done on the last fight, on the last camp. So I'm just excited to go out there and show all the corrections that were made.
And even though you went through your first loss, the UFC still placed you high up on this main card. You still have a lot of people supporting you and excited to see your fight. What does it mean to you knowing that there's still a lot of people high on your potential as a fighter despite going through that first loss?
It means a lot, even being on the main card on a good spot. It's a good fight card and still being on the main card. So I'm just excited to this time, it's a good opportunity for my comeback, and I'm going to have a lot of eyes on me on my comeback. So I'm just excited, and this time, aprovechar la oportunidad.
And your opponent, Terrance Mitchell, he respects that you're here at such a young age. What do you make of him as your opponent, and what did you learn from his last fight?
I respect him too. He's a very experienced fighter from his last fight. I know he took the fight like 2 weeks notice. I know it was a short notice fight for him. So yeah, I expect the best from him on Saturday night. I expect a war, but I'm just ready to get my hand raised on Saturday night.
And obviously, Saturday night, Noche UFC, first time the UFC does a Mexican Independence Day card. How special was it for you when you got the call that you're going to be on this card, and even better knowing that you're going to fight in front of your fans?
I got really happy. It's a very special day. And I know 16th of September is going to go down in the books for UFC history for sure. The card is really good from top to bottom, and I'm just glad to be part of it. And more than anything, on my comeback, it's a good spot and a good day because I get to go out there and put on a show for all my people. I know it's going to be a lot of Latinos supporting, so I'm excited to raise the flag on Saturday night.
Now, so I mentioned Latinos. I'm going to do one in Spanish real quick. ¿Tienes algún mensaje para los aficionados que van a ver tu pelea este sábado?
Sí, nomás esperen un buen show. Lo voy a dar lo mejor de mí. Y va a ser un paso más cerca al campeonato. Entonces, pues no se lo pierdan porque vengo con todo a corregir todos los errores que se hicieron en la última pelea. Y muchas gracias por todo el apoyo a todos.
Gracias.
Raul, right over here in the middle. Right here. Raul, since the last fight, we spoke at UFC X and talked about, hey, just going back to the gym, back to work and everything. Now with another fight coming up, what are you most excited to show in terms of your growth that you could tell us?
I'm just excited to show my improvements on everything, every single detail you can think of, my cardio, my grappling, my wrestling, my striking. I'm just ready for whatever, and I'm going to show whatever I have to show. Depends how long the fight goes because I'm going to be looking for the finish every moment. But this time I'm going to set a pace and everything, so it's going to be a fun night.
I know you were on the road for your last fight. How does it feel to have another fight back here? You can do media at the Apex, back where you did Contender Series and everything else. I mean, is it more comfortable fighting here in Las Vegas?
Yeah, for sure. I feel comfortable fighting here in Las Vegas, so I'm excited because I like the vibe in T-Mobile. On my UFC debut, since I fought at T-Mobile, I like the vibe, and I knew I wanted to come back and fight at T-Mobile. I like how there's a lot of Mexican supporters, like when I came out last time, there was a lot of Mexico flags, so I can only imagine this time.
Thank you.
Raúl, gracias por hablar con la prensa para tu pelea el sábado. Si nos puedes contar qué pudiste aprender de ti mismo, desde el apoyo en tu casa, en tu equipo, la gente que te pudo decir, hey, no te agüites con esa derrota para mejorar tu carrera y poder seguir al próximo nivel.
No, pues se pudo aprender mucho, la verdad. Por ejemplo, la gente que en verdad me quiere y la gente que no más estaba ahí por no sé, pero por ejemplo, todo pasó muy rápido cuando yo agarré mi contrato y todo, pues toda la gente se arrimó como si fueran mis amigos. Entonces, ahorita que vengo de una pérdida, pues más que nada pude ver quiénes son los verdaderos. Entonces ya hasta los puedo contar con los dedos de mis manos. Y estoy agradecido, pues, No, claro que a nadie le gusta perder, pero tomé lo mejor de la perdida, miré el lado positivo y este sábado no va a pasar lo mismo, ya vengo con más, entonces nomás estoy emocionado para demostrarlo.
Gracias. Y con cualquier triunfo o derrota siempre viene una lección. ¿Qué pudiste aprender de ti mismo? ¿Y cuáles son de las cosas que has mejorado desde ese último visita al octágono?
Pues pude aprender que soy duro de finalizar, de que me acaben en una pelea. Pude aprender mucho y la verdad nomás corregí todos los errores porque fueron muchos errores que se cometieron en esa pelea. Todos hicieron el trabajo, mi equipo, todos, nomás yo les fallé, entonces no les quiero volver a fallar. Y entrené muy duro para no hacer esos errores otra vez y ahora sí poner un buen show.
Gracias. Y finalmente para mí, te hemos visto antes con tu sombrero de algo así para que puedas capturar la energía, especialmente que es independencia de México y todo. ¿Vas a tener algo especial o para el pesaje o para la pelea cuando salgas, cuando hagas tu walkout?
Sí, para la pelea voy a tener algo especial. Ya que no permiten banderas, pues tengo que representar y poner la bandera en alto de alguna forma, representar la cultura. Entonces, pues voy a salir con el sombrero el día de mi pelea y estoy emocionado porque sé que se va a aprender y se va a poner bueno en T-Mobile y ya nomás estamos listos.
Gracias, man. Buena suerte el sábado, Raúl.
Gracias.
Hey, Raul. Just a quick one. Who do you think is going to win the main event, Alexa Grasso or Valentina?
I have a lot of respect for both fighters. I like Alexa, you know, she's representing our country and stuff. Like, I really like how she fights too. It was a really great fight. But I also seen Valentina fight a lot. I know she's a beast. So I respect both of them, but I'm not gonna choose on that one.
What do you think of Sean Strickland winning the title last weekend?
That's good for him, you know. Everybody doubted him, but he believed in himself, maybe his team. But more than anything, he believed that he could do it, and he got it done, you know. So good to him.
Thanks.
Raul, real quick. The last time you fought was your first professional defeat. On a personal level, did that change anything about your mentality, about how you handle your career or the way that you were doing things?
No, to be honest, the only thing that the loss changed was my record, you know. That's the only thing that changed.
Yeah. And you entered the UFC with tons of hype. I mean, you still obviously have it. You're the youngest fighter on the UFC roster, and you were talking about, you know, wanting to fight multiple weight classes, belts. And, you know, there are some people that are saying, oh, you know, with that loss, maybe he should kind of hold back a little bit on the call-outs and this and that. What would you have to say to those people that say, like, perhaps that you're biting a bit more than you can chew?
I don't gotta say nothing to them, you know. They can say whatever they want. I know my goals. I know what I'm capable of. So I'm gonna go out there and get it if I want it, you know. And I do want it, so I'm gonna go out there and get it. And yeah, they can just keep talking. They can keep saying whatever they want. Everybody has the free to say whatever they want, so I don't really care.
Yeah, and the fan reaction of your first defeat. How was it like handling that on like a social media perspective? Because, you know, you got tons of attention and social media nowadays is quite crazy. Did you get a lot of hate?
For sure. Probably I got more love than hate, you know, just everybody telling me since I lost that they can't wait to see me come back, you know, so I appreciate that. But of course there was hate too. But I knew this is how the sport is, you know. Even like I said, even if Khabib came back and lost, the fans would turn their back on him, you know. So, because every time I would go to a UFC event, a couple times I did, and I saw like a star fighting on the show, and he lost, everybody turned their back on him. So we knew since we were little that that's how the sport is. So, you know, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And from a technical standpoint, for you to kind of still you know, get back in the winning ways and all that, like what were some of the things that, looking at that loss, you realized you needed to add to your game or change up? What is it, sort of the next step of evolution for you?
More than anything, have a game plan, have a strategy. But yeah, like I said, there was thousands of mistakes made on my last fight that I can't even count. So yeah, I just made sure to correct every single one, and it made me a better fighter now. So I'm excited to go out there and show the how much I've improved in this couple months. So yeah.
Goal still the same, youngest UFC champion in history?
Yeah, for sure. Everything I've said in the past, all the goals I've said in the past, nothing has changed. Everything remains the same. Everything I meant it. If you bring something up that I said in the past, I'll still admit to it. You know, like I still think the same way. Nothing has changed.
Y un par en español bien rápido. ¿Qué significa ser parte de Noche UFC, este evento que la UFC está haciendo para resaltar el talento mexicano y obviamente la independencia de México? ¿Qué se siente ser parte de este evento histórico que es el primero en la compañía?
No, pues se siente padre, ¿no? Es un sentimiento bonito de poder formar parte de una cartelera así. Como lo dije, es una buena cartelera desde el comienzo hasta el final. Yo sé que el 16 de septiembre, el sábado, va a ser una noche que va a ir a la historia de UFC porque es la primera vez que hacen un evento así para los mexicanos en un día tan especial. Entonces, nomás estoy agradecido por la oportunidad de poder formar parte de esta cartelera y la voy a aprovechar.
¿Te gustaría que UFC hiciera esto algo ya tradición anualmente, todos los 16 o fin de semana, de que hiciera este tipo de evento para resaltar el talento mexicano y no sé, un día de pronto tú hasta encabezando este tipo de evento?
La verdad sí, me gustaría que lo hicieran cada vez, entonces el sábado van a ver que hay mucho talento mexicano, van a ver que no se van a arrepentir de lo que están haciendo este sábado, pero la verdad estaría más chido si para la otra en vez de Las Vegas lo podemos mover a la Ciudad de México o a cualquier parte de México, creo que estaría mejor, pero este sábado nomás van a tener una probadita de cómo peleamos los mexicanos y cómo se prende el show y van a ver que necesitan, que el momento para llevar la UFC a México es ahora.
Y por último, ya me comentaste en inglés, pero si puedes comentar en español, las enseñanzas que te dejó tu último combate donde pues sufriste tu primera derrota como profesional.
Me dejó muchas enseñanzas, no nomás en la pelea, sino en la vida. Entonces estoy agradecido, como lo digo, a nadie le gusta perder, pero nomás miro el lado positivo y estoy agradecido por todas las enseñanzas que me dio. Entonces ya nomás estoy listo para demostrar todos los errores que corregimos de la última pelea. Y sí, por ejemplo, como lo digo, ahora puedo contar mis amigos con los dedos de mis manos y por eso estoy agradecido porque sí pude ver muchas cosas aparte de la pelea que pude ver.
Muchas gracias.
Just want to chime back in here real quick. I know it's been a couple months, but you actually trained with the former undisputed bantamweight champion, Aljamain Sterling. How was that experience like for you?
For sure. I realized I needed for my last fight, that's another thing I realized. I needed to be in a more competitive MMA room. Like I needed higher level training partners. So, you know, it was a good experience training with Aljo and picking his brain a little bit on some things. Since he already has more experience. So, yeah, I was able to learn some few things from him.
And I just want to get your thoughts on that UFC 292 bantamweight showdown between Sterling and O'Malley.
That was crazy. I didn't expect that, but it brings more attention to the division, having a champion like Sean O'Malley. He brings a lot of attention, a lot of hype. So now the division got interested, and I'm just excited to see how it unfolds because I know there's a lot of top-level fighters on the top 5 that match up good with Sean O'Malley. And you also have good up-and-comers like Umar Nurmagomedov. So it's just going to be exciting by the time I get there to see who has the belt.
What's your dream fight in that 135 division?
I don't have any dream fight. But I think a lot of fights would bring a lot of attention. A lot of fights would be interesting, like Sean O'Malley for sure. But he'll probably be gone by the time I get there. I think he's going to do a lot of other things that he can, maybe go up to 145 and maybe go do some boxing matches. So it depends how quickly I can get to the belt, who's there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Daniel, welcome to Fight Week. How are we feeling today?
Good. Thanks, bro.
Awesome, and you train right here in Vegas at Extreme Couture, and you're fighting on Mexican Independence Day, right down the road at T-Mobile Arena. It doesn't get much more home game than that for you. How special was it for you when you got the call to fight on this card?
It's always special, and even like fighting in Mexican Independence Day and here at Vegas with all my team here, like doesn't have to have all that pressure about flying, and I just feel that it gives me like a little advantage over the other. Well, in this case, over Christos, because being here, I know that I'm gonna have the crowd in my side, and I don't know, it's good being here.
Awesome. You mentioned there you're gonna have the crowd advantage on your side, but he's gonna have the experience advantage over you come Saturday night. What's gonna be the key for you to neutralize that factor for you?
The hard work. I know, I've been working hard for all my life, and since I arrived here to Vegas and I start training here, I'm doing like 4 or 5 sessions a day, like really getting all that experience, training with way more experienced people than me, learning for all the different coaches that I have. So I feel that at this point, it's not about experience, it's about who trains the best. Because, you see sometimes guys make his debut with 6-0 or even less fights, and they beat guys with way more fights. So I feel that it's not about experience, it's about who have the best game plan and who can do his game plan better under pressure and at the moment in the fight, So I feel that experience is not the most important part on the fight. I feel that experience helps more with all this, because when you get the experience, you know how to deal with all the media stuff, the photos, and now I feel that I'm used to. It's my 3rd UFC fight, so kind of like now having all the cameras and the interviews, and I feel that in that part, the experience is important, but at the time of the fight, it's not that relevant.
And you brought up the training there. I mean, training at Extreme Couture. What's that like for you, man, working with all these people over at Extreme Couture?
Oh, it's been great. I've been training there the last year and a half, maybe, and I've been growing a lot. All the teammates are great. They are always will to help. For this fight camp, I've been training with a lot of bunch of different welterweights that are training extreme, and I always go like, hey, bro, can we train Wednesday at 1? And they are there. And, everybody is great in there. My head coach Eric, right now, he just get a new champion. So that kind of like fired me up a little bit more this week,
Awesome. Y siendo noche la UFC, te voy a preguntar algunas en español. ¿Hay algunas enseñanzas de tus últimas 2 peleas en la UFC que te van a ayudar con el resultado que quieres este fin de semana?
Some questions in Spanish. Any lessons that you might have taken from previous fights that would help you for this Saturday?
Sí. Creo que de la que más he aprendido fue de la pelea que perdí. Definitivamente fue como un cambio esa pelea, porque más que verlo como una derrota y ponerme a pensar en todo lo malo que eso podía traer, siento que junto con mi equipo trabajamos en qué fue lo que falló, qué fue lo que hizo falta mejorar, y todos esos ajustes se vieron en la segunda pelea que tuve en la UFC y que logré ganar igual a un veterano con el mismo número de peleas que tiene Christos. Entonces siento que eso fue lo que me ayudó a crecer, ¿no? Esa primer pelea me ayudó a mejorar en la segunda. Y en la segunda pelea lo que crecí fue darme cuenta que me sirve pelear con público, ¿sabes? Desde que empezó la pandemia y todo eso, tenía mucho tiempo que no peleaba para público y menos para un público tan grande como fue en Kansas. Entonces, cuando peleé ahí me di cuenta que me encanta pelear con público. La energía de la gente y todo es diferente.
Yeah, surely there are lessons to be taken, especially from, I mean, if you think about it, you always learn from it, but the loss. The loss was a moment of change for me. Not so much of like, I mean, you lost a fight and what happens in your life, but you look at all adjustments and what can be done better. What can I need to do, the fine-tuning to come back and do it. I mean, so after the first fight, we got into the second fight and not, again, a veteran, someone that has the same amount of experience in fights and experienced guys like Christos. Now, also, it kind of dawned on me how much I like to have a crowd because of the pandemic. I mean, we've gone through all that, and I kind of forgot how cool it is to have that. And to be in Kansas, to see all those people, I just kind of realized all that crowd, like how much I like it, how much I enjoy to have a crowd.
Y obviamente toda esa energía va a estar en tu favor este sábado. ¿Tienes algún mensaje para todos los aficionados que van a ver tu pelea este sábado?
And obviously, all the energy is going to be in your favor on Saturday. A message for all the fans on you for they're going to be pulling for you on Saturday.
Claro, que no se pierdan la pelea, no solo la mía, sino la de todos los demás mexicanos que van a estar peleando. Creo que es una muy buena cartelera y sin duda alguna vamos a dar muy buenas peleas.
Of course, watch those fights. Is going to be not just mine, but everybody, every Mexican that's going to be there. It's going to be a great card, and I think we're going to put on a great fight.
Y una última más mía. Ya sé que el enfoque está en Christos este fin de semana, pero cuando ves la división tuya, muchísimo talento, ¿hay alguna pelea que quieres como soñar con algún día pelear con?
And one last one for me. I understand your focus is in Christos for this particular weekend, but I mean, going forward in your career, you have a lot of talent in your division. Is there like a dream fight or something that you've always, hey, I can dream about having this one?
En este momento, la verdad, no mucho. Me estoy enfocando en crecer. Es mi tercer pelea en la UFC, tengo 24 años, entonces quiero seguir tomando las peleas que me da la UFC. Me gustaría pelear con Chase Hopper. Hace poquito pedí pelear con él. No se hizo la pelea, ojalá se hiciera. Te digo, no es algo que me tenga así como, ay, no, tengo que empezar a hablarle a... En general, creo que ahorita en donde estoy parado tengo que entender que tengo que ganar las peleas que me ponga la UFC y después ya puedo empezar a crecer, ¿sabes? A irme metiendo en los rankings, ir pues pidiendo peleas, ir buscando. Pero ahorita creo que solo tengo que enfocarme en ganar peleas y ya de ahí para adelante.
This is not the moment yet for to actually start thinking about fights. I mean, I'm there to face anybody that I need to face, and anybody that the UFC puts in front of me, I will go there and face. I mean, it's my third fight in the UFC, so that's what I'm focused on. Obviously, at one point, I actually talked about Chase Hooper, maybe. I called him out just for a fight because I would like to happen. It didn't happen. It didn't get me round up or anything of the sort because of the fact that I didn't get the fight. All I have to focus right now is actually to train for the next fight whoever the UFC puts in front of me, and in slowly moving forward and moving up, getting into the rankings, getting better opponents. But right now I have to focus on winning fights.
Gracias.
Hey, Daniel. How motivating was it to see Sean win the championship on Saturday?
Oh, a lot. I remember I was with my manager and we were seeing the fight and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The way that Sean won that fight was something pretty amazing. And especially since we share head coach, Coach Eric, kind of like I don't know, like I feel today I just work out today in the morning with Eric and the energy was different, because having a coach that just made his second UFC champ and having all the trust of him that I'm gonna be there at some point, kind of like, it just gives me something extra that I don't know how to explain.
You're in the gym with Sean, and you see how good of a teammate he is. So, I guess just like, what can you say about Sean?
I feel that some people have like this bad idea of him being a gym bully. He's not. Like, he's actually, in his weird way, he's a good person. Like, he's in all the sparring sessions that I have with not with him, but that he saw, he has always something to say, like, again, in his way, but he always has something to say, to add, to show. So he's really always there to share something. So, he's a good training partner. I feel that, you need to earn his respect. I feel that if you just walk in the gym and just say like, hey, I'm gonna train, he's just gonna fucking beat you up, But if you win the respect of him and he see you working and really trying to get better, he's gonna help. And yeah, that's Sean Strickland.
This is you're going into your third fight with Eric in your corner. So, like, how special is that relationship finally becoming? Because with that fight with Trey, it was still new, right? So, like, you didn't really feel each other, but now you've been with him. How special is that relationship?
I feel that it's better because now he understands me, because it's not just like you arrive to a new gym. And, of course, for my first fight, we got the work done. But as you say, like, he didn't knew what to say in the corner, and then in the second fight, it was the first fight camp that I really do a complete fight camp down in Vegas for 3 months. And now I do that again. And, it's just like we get closer to each other. We're the point that he knows what to say. He knows what type of fighter I am. And, that helps a lot now. Because as you say, like now I have a team here. And not only with Coach Eric, like I work with Coach Dewey Cooper, with Coach Jorge Capetillo, with Coach Chase Pavin. So I've been adding tools all this time to build up a team around me to help me become a champion. And I feel that that's important.
Who's going to be in the corner on Saturday?
Oh, the same one that the last time. Coach Dewey Cooper, Jorge Capetillo, my boxing coach, and Coach Eric.
And then finally, who's winning in the main event, Valentina or Alexa?
Oh, Alexa, for sure. The stats, like every champion that get the immediate rematch, it's never end up good. So I don't know. I just feel that all the crowd and all this hype leading up to this fight is going to be in the Alexa side. So, yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, bro.
Real quick, what does it mean to fight on Mexican Independence Day? And this is the first ever that the UFC hosts this kind of event, in honor of Mexican talent that they have.
It's a bunch of different emotions because, first of all, I'm fighting in Mexican Independence Day. It's not the first time that I fight because I actually won my Contender Series contract in the week of the Mexican Independence Day, and my UFC debut was in the week of Mexican Independence Day. So I've been fighting a lot on this date. So it's more about fighting for the first time in the T-Mobile Arena and, being one of the first fighter ever in being in Noche UFC. I don't know if this is going to be like something that they are going to keep doing, but it's cool being the first one. So
seeing how they're building this event around Alexa, the custom belt, you're obviously a highly touted prospect, Mexican prospect. Do you see all that and you see, man, I want that in the future? Like, does that motivate you for your career?
Of course. And not only the custom belt, like I feel that that's something extra. It's being champion, like what wakes me up every morning and drives me to go for the fourth training of the day when I'm all beat up is that I want to be champion. I want to become one of the greatest. And like later on in my career, I was like, I don't know, I was shy to talk about this because I didn't believe it. But now that I've been here for a whole year working and training and getting all this experience, I know that it's a real possibility, So yeah, it's more about become a champion than, the custom belt and all that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Daniel, hablaste sobre el caso en inglés, pero algo en español, por favor. Coincidentemente, cuando debutaste, cuando has peleado, esto, aquello, este tema de independencia mexicana es como buena suerte para ti, ¿o qué onda?
You said in English, so please in Spanish. This whole thing about you fighting on the week of a Mexican Independence Day, it's apparently it was a good. Do you feel like it's a good look for you? How do you feel about always fighting on that way?
Perdón. La verdad no creo en la buena suerte. Es algo que he trabajado mucho con mi psicólogo deportivo. Creo que todo mundo tenemos como nuestros, ¿cómo decirlo? Sí, nuestras creencias, supersticiones, pero parte de ser un deportista profesional es pues, no tener eso, ¿sabes? Yo, no sé, Día de Muertos, Día de la Independencia, miércoles a las 2 de la tarde, o sea, cuando me digan, puedo pelear, porque es a lo que me dedico. Entonces, no creo tanto en la fecha, sino pues en el trabajo, ¿no? En lo que vine haciendo, no solamente un campamento, tengo 12 años dedicándome a esto y que me han traído a este momento, entonces, sí, creo que no es tan relevante para mí la fecha o en general.
I don't think. I mean, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in good luck. I think that when you're a professional athlete, I mean, that's the one thing that everyone has their beliefs. Everyone has their superstitions. But we work so hard for this to happen. So it could be Dia de los Muertos. It could be a Mexican Independence Day. It could be Wednesday at 2 p.m. I'll fight. It doesn't matter. I've worked for this, and it wasn't just for this camp. I've worked for 12 years for this. I mean, this is what I dedicate myself to. This is what I love to do. So it doesn't matter. It's just, you just you believe in hard work, and I don't think this is a relevant thing for me.
Gracias, Daniel. Buena suerte el sábado.
Gracias. Woohoo! Thank you, guys.
It feels great to be here for the second time.
Well, Fernando, welcome to Fight Week. I mean, you kind of just answered my question. I was gonna say, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling amazing. It's great to be here after 4 months. You know, it was a year and 9 months without fighting, and then they just rushing me into fights, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, right into my next one. I mean, before your UFC debut against Julian Erosa, you were going through a 2-year layoff. How does it feel to be active again as you approach your second fight this year?
Great. For 1 second in the middle of the camp, I felt a little bit of stress. I felt that I wasn't doing enough for some reason, and I had to sit down and talk to my coaches, and they told me, it's like, man, the thing is this, like, they told me, we're not being like softer with you or nothing. It's just, since the last fight, I didn't even rest a week. I think even on Friday after the fight, I was already hitting pads again. And the thing is that I was so constant in everything that the evolution of me happened just naturally, right? So cardio, strength, technique, everything just kind of evolved. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. Everything has been great.
And you got the call to be a part of Noche UFC. How special was that for you when you received that news?
History, brother. History in the making. I'm so happy to be able to have my name in this part of history, because I mean, it's the first one ever in this September 16. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to put up a performance for you guys, and just enjoy the fights, guys.
And they even placed you on the main card. How did that feel?
Amazing. I said it the last time, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna show you guys why I deserve to be there. I know a lot of people is like, oh, why is he in the main card? Why is this? But hey, I'm gonna show you guys.
Your opponent, Kyle Nelson, coming off a big win at UFC 289. What do you make of his last performance, and what do you make of him as an opponent?
The last fight that he had, I know his opponent. I trained with him a little bit, Blake. So that gave me a lot of view about how Kyle kind of works. I think physically he's really strong, like really strong, because I know Blake is. So if he was able to control Blake, defending the takedowns how he was doing it, it means that he's strong. So I work everything around that too. When I step in the cage, I want to be the stronger man. I don't want him to be the strong man. So working my conditioning, working my cardio, in my strength, and then in my skills. You know, I've been just kind of like sharpening them, like tightening the knots, and getting better.
And your debut was here at the UFC Apex. This time around, significantly higher stakes over at the T-Mobile Arena in front of a sold-out crowd. Majority of Mexican fan base is going to be there. How's that going to be like for you?
Excelente, excellent, perfect. I've been waiting for this all my life. I knew at one point in my career Mexico was going to be on the card. You know, all the Mexico is going to be in the arena. If it wasn't here, it was going to be in Mexico City. So like, it was just a question of time. Right now, I think everything is being fluid. Everything is just like flowing. So I feel that I'm just going with the waves. The last fight, this fight, and even how the last fight happened, you know, how fast it was I was just flowing, and I constantly been on it.
Y algunas en español rapidito para la comunidad hispana. ¿Cómo se siente ver el crecimiento y el avance de las artes marciales en México y en toda Latinoamérica?
How do you feel the growth for the people? How do you feel to see this growth and advancement of mixed martial arts in Mexico for everybody?
Se siente excelente, hermano, excelente. Cuando yo me vine aquí a Estados Unidos en 2016, el año después de eso, que fue 2017, estuvo muy seco. México estuvo completamente seco en torno a MMA. Me acuerdo que no hubo eventos, no había gente haciendo eventos, incluso no había gente invirtiendo dinero en las MMA. Y de repente en el 2018 empezó el boom de los eventos amateur. Empezaron a hacer muchos eventos nacionales, amateur, y pues obviamente las carteleras se volvieron más grandes. Pero en torno al crecimiento en México, es increíble, o sea, ve los campeones que tuvimos, los que tenemos, los que vamos a tener y todo el talento que está saliendo.
Excellent. I mean, when I came to the United States, I remember like 2016, Mexico just went through this whole dry spell, this whole dry year, and nothing was happening. No events were happening. No people weren't investing in MMA. Nothing was going on over there. And on the following years, just you started seeing some amateur events, and things started happening. You can see it now. You can see it. It's incredible. You can see the champions we've had, the champions we have, the champions we're still going to have. It's amazing to see it.
Y una más, ¿tienes algún mensaje para la comunidad hispana que va a ver tu pelea este sábado?
And also a message for all the Spanish community, all the Spanish-speaking community, the Hispanic community that are going to be watching your fights on Saturday.
Para todo México y toda Latinoamérica, sigan sus sueños. Sí se puede, sí se puede. O sea, es así de fácil. Nomás tienen que trabajar duro por ellos y seguirlos. Viva México y pues vamos a darle.
For all Mexicans, for all Latin America, just keep hunting your dreams. Don't give up. And yes, you can. Just keep dreaming, and yes, you can. It's simple as that. Keep working at it, and you're gonna get there. All right, let's go.
Gracias.
Fernando, ¿te gustaría que UFC empezara a hacer esto como ya una tradición? Esta es la primera vez que hace un evento el Día de la Independencia, pero ¿te gustaría ver que fuera ya algo anual?
As this is the first time that the UFC does an event on the Mexican Independence Weekend, would you like that to become a tradition?
Sí, sí, pero pues es que también depende mucho de la compañía, ¿verdad? O sea, uno como mexicano, lo mejor que puede hacer ahorita, y no tanto como mexicano, como peleador, es representar a su país de la mejor manera. Todos nosotros hoy, bueno, este fin de semana, nuestro trabajo es ir a ganar, ir a enseñar que estas cartas que van a ser para los mexicanos deben de quedarse porque nosotros vamos a dar buenas peleas. También, obviamente, no es un mito de que si llegamos a perder, o sea, peligro y no se vuelva a hacer otra carta mexicana, ¿verdad? Pero nosotros llegamos dispuestos. Yo siento la energía que tienen todos. No conocía a muchos, no conocía a Alexa, no conocía a Bajamontes, no conocía a Raúl, ¿verdad? Incluso a Chaires. Son personas que yo sigo desde hace mucho en torno a peleas, pero no los conocía. Y conocerlos ahorita, ver la energía que todos traemos como mexicanos es increíble. Es increíble, hermano. Venimos a darlo todo.
Of course, I would love it to happen, but we can't worry about that because as a fighter, not just as a Mexican, but as a fighter, what you can do is just to represent, to give your best and represent your country to the best of your abilities. And I just feel it. And there's energy, and all of us are here, and I can feel the energy of everybody here. And there's no thing about all we can do is just keep winning for them to understand how worth we are to having a card like this. And there's the whole myth about like, oh, if we lose these fights, they're not going to give us a card back. No, that's not it. I can feel the energy. All I can tell you is like there's a lot of people I haven't met. I hadn't met Alexa before. I hadn't met Mahomes before. I didn't meet Chaires, and now I met him, and the energy. I mean, we're going for it.
Oye, pero ¿no sientes un nivel de responsabilidad? Porque, por ejemplo, Brasil ya está bien establecido, se sabe que ciertos eventos anuales va a tener, igual Australia, pues lo que es los Reinos Unidos, etcétera, etcétera. Los mexicanos, pues como que apenas están llegando o se siente que pues tienen una llegada un poco más tarde que otros países. ¿No sientes como una responsabilidad de de ganar para seguir este tren del éxito que está teniendo México en el 2023?
Do you feel that there's some amount of responsibility that you have? Because if you think about it, Brazil, well established, the events are always going to happen there. Australia, same thing. It's been for a while. Same thing for the UK. Mexico came in late a little bit into the fold. But do you feel, I mean, now that you're here, that you need to keep winning, and there's a little bit of responsibility to keep this trend of winning that we've seen in 2023?
Lo dije la vez pasada, igual me preguntaron lo mismo, que cómo se sentía representar a mi país y a México en la pelea pasada y todo mis sentimientos sobre eso. Los sentimientos no cambian, hermano. Cuando yo me salí de mi casa en Chihuahua y me vine aquí a Estados Unidos, yo ya venía cargando con todo México. No venía cargando nomás con mi familia, no venía cargando con mis amigos, yo venía cargando con todo México desde que me vine aquí a representar. Es una mochila que yo ya llevo conmigo, es una mochila y un peso que ya es natural para mí. Y eso me encanta porque me hace fluir mejor, me hace ser un mejor peleador. Obviamente los nervios están ahí, vamos a pelear, pero no hay nervios por perder, no hay nervios por representar. Todo eso yo ya lo llevo en mí, y yo sé que voy a dar lo mejor de mí y la gente le va a gustar.
I've said this before in my last fight, and I'll say it again. When I came to the United States, when I came here, it wasn't just for myself, it wasn't just for my family, it wasn't just for my friends, but for those who train. I always came carrying Mexico with me. It's a weight and a responsibility that Mexico has always been with me. It's always been with me. It's something that we carry with us, and we're always going to represent this, and we're always going to keep doing this and continuing it, no matter what happens. And I will continue to represent Mexico and forever.
Fernando, right here. Obviously, beforehand, you shook everybody's hand from front to back, and it really matters that you're talking about how you're really staying in the moment for this fight. Of course, there's significance of it. It's history in the making. You're representing your country. Elaborate on, from the time that you've started till now in that journey, and you're reflecting upon that, why does this matter so much to you?
Because this matter like this, because this is everything I work for, brother. I remember when I was really, not really young, right, but maybe 10 years old, and then start there, I start having this feeling of, I know I'm going to be someone. I know I'm going to be something in this life. And I never knew what it was. I never find what it was till I step in the mats. When I step in the mats for the first time in my life, I knew that this was my goal, my dream, my whole entire, I was born for this. That's how I felt when I stepped in the mats. And then when I got into the UFC, man, it was crazy. It was the best feeling in the world. It was everything I dreamed, everything I sacrificed for my mom and my dad, the time with my family, the time with my grandpa's dad, the funeral, my grandma having Alzheimer's, not even remembering the family, and I'm not even there. And sometimes they call me and she don't even know who I am, bro, and that shit's really hard. But all that is what this means for me. I want to be here and show that I'm going to be a champion for me and for all that sacrifice that I've been doing for years. I know I'm not the only one, and I might be getting more sentimental than other people, but it's been years of not being with my family, seeing them passing through tough stuff, and I'm here just training and fighting here in America, in California, and I'm not going to let all that time, all that stuff that happened in all this time to go to waste. This means everything for me. Everything. Everything.
It's interesting you mentioned all that. Is there a moment in time or a story that comes to mind when you think about it, whether it's that first moment when everything clicked, this is what I want to do, or you're talking to your family over the phone, or you finally got that UFC debut? Is there anything that stands out to you yeah, this is what represents me?
There's two moments that I think they're going to be forever in my head right now. It's when I win the title in Fury FC and Dana White was there and he signed me. That night is going to be forever in my head, man. It's crazy how I got to meet people and I got to see people that I thought I would never meet, I would never talk to them. having the boss man tell me that, hey man, you're in the UFC, telling my mom and my dad that I was in the UFC, that's a moment that I'm always going to keep with me, and that kind of motivated me to like push harder, even through all that year that I didn't fight. That's why I was so like on it. And then this last fight that I had here in the Apex, when they put my mom and my dad in the back, a few of the people here saw, but man, that moment over there when my dad was telling me that this is just the beginning, it was true. This is just the beginning. We're going for everything.
Congrats and good luck tonight.
Thank you,
Saturday.
man. Appreciate you.
Fernando, just one here in the back. Can you share any insights into your mental preparation leading into this fight? Like how you plan to maintain composure and focus in such a high pressure situation?
For me, it's been always the same since I started fighting professionally. My coach back in Chihuahua, Coach Mauricio, he told me the way that he prepared for fights, and I feel that it suited me really well. He constantly think about winning. He told me, think every single situation that a fight can go and think about winning. Think about if he punched you, think about punching him back. Like if your mind runs all the way till him winning, find a way to run it till you win. You know, like even if he's winning positions, imagine you getting out of it, trying to get better of the position out of him. And that's what I do every time I go to sleep. I literally see myself with the hand raise, like constantly every day. Another thing that keeps me really good with my mind is just training hard. As long as I know that I'm putting everything in every single training for this camp, my mind is clear, is calm, and that's how I feel. Thank you guys. You guys are the best.
What's up, Kevin? How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Good, man. Yeah, you seem in good spirits, like always.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What's your mindset going in this fight week at Noche UFC?
Really excited. Business is business, and plan on going out there and handling business once again.
Yeah. This fight with Della Maddalena, I think this is a big fan favorite. A lot of people have their eyes on this bout. Just curious, is this somebody that you wanted to cross paths with, or just a fight that came about? Talk to us about this matchup.
Yeah, well, you know, Buckley was begging for it, and I can't let my son have anything without my permission, so I went and took it first.
So it wasn't really about Jack. It was about not letting Buckley get it?
No, I do like the way Jack fights. I seen him when him and Randy Brown fought, and I was like, kind of got me intrigued a little bit. So just excited to go out there and, test him, test myself, and ultimately, business is business, handle some business.
Yeah. This obviously paints to be like a striking bout. What have you made of his boxing skills? Are you a fan of like what he's been doing?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It's like sometimes when you watch a guy fight, it's like it's hard to continue watching their fights. Like the last fight, Kiesta, I was doing my studying, and I had to keep watching his fights. And it's like I just started doing this whole little new study thing, and it's like Kiesta fights were like, I was like, fuck, I don't want to watch this. It's like I'm not really big on the grappling. But, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. So I watch Kiesta while I'm on the shitter because, I'm not going to fall asleep while I'm on the shitter. Jack, though, it's like he can watch Jack in between playing video games while on the shitter. Shit, I even watch Jack in the shower. So, me and Jack are pretty well acquainted right now.
Yeah. And this is another fight at welterweight after your last fight. You had said that maybe you were going to move up to 185. So it's safe to say you're sticking at 170?
It's never safe to say anything with Kevin Holland. But, I'd be down for whatever and whenever. Whatever they give me, to be honest with you. If they gave me 85 fights, I'd be fighting at 85. But it seems like I'm getting 170-pound fights right now. So I'll take whatever they give me. I just want to get paid.
Yeah. Where do you feel like your best version's at, 185 or 170?
I mean, I'm more serious at 170 because you have to be serious if you want to make the weight, right? But goddamn, I was pretty good at 85 too, right? I did some freakish shit. So, it's like, I think it depends. It's like you let the UFC video game tell you, and it's like it seems like I'm better at 170 than 85. It's like it's crazy.
By the way, what'd you make of Adesanya's title loss to Strickland?
It's like I think Strickland did a good job, but overall, every time I bash Izzy up here, it's like the narrative of it changes, and I get all kind of shit online. So how about we just focus on Kevin Holland today?
Sure.
Thank you.
And I spoke to you in Miami, and I had asked you your thoughts about this, I guess, expected title fight between Leon Edwards and Colby Covington. And since you already fought and you're about to log in your second fight, and that fight still hasn't been made, what are your thoughts on kind of the belt not being active at this point in time at 170?
It doesn't really bother me. I'm not really the guy looking for a belt. I'm just looking to stay active, and I'm looking to fight anybody and everybody. You know what I mean? It's like I like how I get paid, and the way I get paid is to show up and to win fights. So I show up, win fights, do the contract, assassinate the person in front of me, collect my checks, and go on to the next one. So I just look forward to keep fighting. Just fight as much as possible. I don't concern myself with belts whatsoever. It's like if guys are fighting for a title, they're no longer in my vision anymore. My glasses can't see them.
Why are you not focused on the belt? Like, why is that something that doesn't?
Why are you guys so focused on the fucking belt all the time? Like, excuse my language, but why are you so focused on the belt? I just told you I'm not worried about the belt, then you go back and ask me about the belt. Like, I'm not worried about the belt. Why are you so worried about the belt? You don't even fight for a living. Why are you so worried about the belt?
Well, I'm not worried. I don't fight.
I'm not worried about it either. Why are you so worried about it?
That's why I'm asking.
I'm not worried about it. That's the ultimate answer you need. I'm not worried about it. Why are you so worried about it?
Well, I don't know. I'm asking you because you say you want the big paydays, and usually that comes with pay-per-view points and whatnot. So you would assume that the
maybe I'm already getting pay-per-view points.
Maybe.
You don't know, right?
Sure.
True. All right.
All right. Lastly, have you brushed up your Spanish at all ahead of Noche UFC?
A little bit. Not good enough yet, though. Still working on it. I think I'm going to get me one of those little things that go and the little thing, and it repeats the words over and over again. I think I'll be able to understand it like that. It's like I get a word down packed, and then I go and start doing shit, and I fucking forget it, and it's like, I hate that. I really wish I could, retain it, It's like, probably need to smoke less weed. Yeah.
Good luck in the fight, and good luck with the classes as well.
Thank you.
Kevin, over here. Obviously, last week's main event just got mentioned. You were one of the few people that picked Strickland to win on your podcast.
Yeah.
How do you see this weekend's main event going?
Man, dude. I don't really like talking about people that can beat me up. I don't feel like neither one of those guys can beat me up, so I talked about them. But Grasso and Shevchenko whooped my ass, so I'm going to leave those two alone. But, it's like I like seeing Grasso as a champ, and I think Valentina was a great champ for a very long time. It's nothing wrong with a new brush of wind, but I don't want to get my ass whooped, so props off to those ladies. I hope they have a wonderful fight.
Awesome. And what's it like having some momentum going into this one, right? You have that win over Ponzinibbio in April, and then the one over Kia Sanjay, and maybe potentially another one in September. You
know what? I don't think I don't need to do that too much because, it's like if I think about that too much, I start to get a little cocky and big-headed. It's like it's best to feel like you're always coming off a loss, 2 losses at that, because then, it's like you're back against the wall and you might get kicked out of the organization. So you're just doing your best to fucking stay here at all times,
Fair enough. Fair enough. You mentioned that you were on a 2-fight skid last year, and you turned that around. How was that transition like as you're now on a 2-fight streak?
Yeah, it does. It always feels good to be winning, and it's nice to have a number next to the name because like the fans be like, oh, well, he does have a number next to his name, so that it's nice to make the fans happy because I love my fans. But ultimately, to turn it around, I think. I got Suge back full time. I think that's big. I got Eric Sands as a wrestling coach full time. I think that's pretty big. And then consistency is key. I'm very consistent now that I got my own little spot. It's a little hole in the wall, but it's cool. It works for me. It works for the guys that go there, and I enjoy it. Malik Lewis, he fought the other night, Contender Series, right? It's like the fucking kid came to the spot. Was getting good work, It's like I don't think he was really winning any rounds against anybody that's there with us. We don't have a whole bunch of bodies, but it's like he was getting good work there. We went to Houston, we got good work, and then he came home and he stopped coming. It's like we gave him a little love on the media, said he was going to do good in this fight, but I said he was going to do good in this fight if he stuck with us. He didn't stick with us. You see what happened. It's like you you got to find a place that feels good, you know. And it's like I found a place that feels good, you know. It's like my coaches do a good job over there, and it's like the few people that are there are serious as fuck, and I think that's to change the skid around, you know.
And speaking about the people around you, your good friend Terrance McKinney's here with you. After you won his last fight, he mentioned how special it was for him to have guys like you and Jamal Hill supporting him the way you guys do. How's it like having Terrance by your side?
Oh, dude, it's great. He's sitting over there right now. Look at him. Look at him. It's fucking annoying, bro. Look at this shit. Look at that. I'm trying to tell you, my boy. Yeah, look. He's looking at everybody. Look at it. Look. He's like, oh, my gosh. Yeah, Terrance is annoying, but that's definitely my little bro. You know, it's like different daddies, different moms, but we're definitely brothers. For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's like it's hard to explain.
Perfect timing there. And another one from me. You like to kind of alter your walkout sometimes. I mean, is there going to be a special theme for this weekend's walkout being Noche UFC?
Nah, probably not. To be honest with you guys, I really I was looking for songs, bro. I was looking for songs that like touched me on the inside and stuff like that. But I don't understand Spanish enough to be like completely drove by some of the songs that I did hear that I liked because I didn't know exactly what they were saying. And I was like, what if he's saying something that's like not good? You know, so it was like one of those things. And then I started listening to Mexican OT because he's a Houston boy, you know what I mean? You guys know what's up. And his shit's fire, but I think Cowboy Killer or something like that, it's just a little bit too much for Fox and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that to the people.
Back to Youngboy then?
No Youngboy. I'm 2-2 in Youngboy. I think I'm gonna stop taking chances with Youngboy. But if you ever see me riding down the street and there's a lot of smoke inside the car, it's tobacco, guys. It's nothing else. And I'm going like this real hard. I'm listening to Youngboy for sure. Demon time.
And last one for me. What's the message you have for all the Trailblazer fans from all around the world that are gonna watch your fight?
Grande Boca. I'm fucking it up. See, I told you I'd be forgetting. Didn't I tell y'all? Shit. Hey, shout out to all my people that supported me. I appreciate y'all.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got to go with Selena. You can't miss with Selena walkout song.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna leave that to the women. For sure.
You know Selena's from Texas too, right?
Beyonce is too, right?
Good point.
Shit, all the fine-ass, bomb-ass, great-ass musicians that are women are from Texas, you know? Everything's bigger and better in Texas. Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. Was this fight ever offered you for UFC 293 in Sydney?
Do you really think that I wouldn't go to Sydney? Like, be realistic. You think I wouldn't go somewhere to fight somebody?
Probably not, but I don't know. Like, Australia's a far-ass flight.
Bro, my second fight with the UFC was where?
Brazil.
Nah, it was in China. Do your homework, my boy. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't I go? If they cover my taxes, I'll go anywhere. And I'm pretty sure, you know, if they really wanted me to fight in Australia, they would have covered the taxes. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't asked to fight in Australia, fam. I was asked to fight in Vegas when the fight fell out with Kelvin Gastelum and Oh Boy, and I'm here in Vegas. Oh Boy keeps crying about not being able to fight in Australia. Motherfucker, if you was worth somebody coming out there to Australia to fight you, they would have made sure somebody came to Australia to fight you. You got a Timex sponsorship. Be happy with that. Shut the fuck up. Bam. My bad. See, y'all getting me in that zone. I'm trying not to go there.
You fought in front of crowds. Your last 6 fights is gonna be your 7th fight. For your next, like, is there anywhere that you really want to fight in front of? Like, do you want like a Houston card?
Yeah, for sure. I would love a Houston card. I love an H-Town card. You know what I mean? Keep building my name, and maybe something magical happens in Houston. To be honest with you, it's like I could probably even get them a discount. But I would love to fight at the Cowboy Stadium at least one time. Cowboy Stadium and at the Rockets spot. I'd be happy. Yeah.
He said he's gonna come out and fight Mexican style.
That's what's up.
Do you? I mean, how do you kind of see this fight going down? Like, I don't like. Obviously, people always say, "Oh, you know, take Kevin down," blah blah blah. But he gets taken down, right? So, like, do you think this is going to be a stand-up war, or do you think it's going to be more like a mixed martial arts fight?
It's going to be a mixed martial arts fight. He's not Wonder Boy. He doesn't get the credit or the respect that he deserves to make me fight one specific way. It's be a mixed martial arts fight. He does certain things to leave opportunity for other things. He doesn't do those things, it leaves opportunity for other things. Overall, I'm going to take what the defense gives me, and his defense gives me a lot of shit. You dig?
I feel you. And then finally, obviously, Trailblazers is your nickname, but by the end of your career, are you going to change it to Big Mouth? Or is that just your
TBBM,
brand?
baby. TBBM. Trailblazer, Big Mouth. I'm everything. It's finally combined.
Thank you.
Kevin, right here.
Yes,
I
sir.
gotta ask you. You mentioned OT earlier. What's your favorite song of his?
Right now it's the Cowboy Killer. That shit go hard. You know what I'm saying? Lately I've been fucking. Yeah, that shit go hard. My bad, y'all. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
I gotta ask you too. What's your top 3, top 5 artists right now?
Top 3, top 5. Man, you know what? Young Boy's up there on the list because, you know, Young Boy's always dropping something. The boy be going crazy. Little Baby, every time he get on something, it's just, it go hard. And then overall, I'm a big fan of the Baby because his music videos is just fucking wild. I know everybody's saying he fell off, but shit, I'm a the Baby fan. I like the Baby, okay? I like that shit. So, Young Boy, Little Baby, and the Baby. So the Baby's got it wrapped up, and then Young Boy helps him out.
I gotta ask you this too. Your Instagram page has got a lot of memes on it. What are your favorite kind of memes?
Favorite kind of memes? You know what? My favorite time to do memes was when I was fighting Brunson. That shit was golden. I ain't even gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? Like, he would respond, he'd drop a meme, I'd drop a meme, just like going back and forth and shit. So that was pretty fun. Other times, I just kind of feel like I'm picking on people. It's not good.
All right, bet. Thanks.
No problem.
Kevin, one last one for me. I mean, we've seen live entrances with artists in like boxing and where fighters come out with the live. If you were to ever do that, maybe is there a specific artist you'd like to do that with?
No, because I always think it sounds like crap when they do that. You know, it's like, if I'm being real, but like if I had to choose somebody, it probably wouldn't be nobody on my top 3. It'd probably be Sauce. You know what I mean? Sauce Walker. Because Sauce Walker just be getting wild. I'm like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it'd probably be Sauce. Yeah, he's hype. Yeah, no cap.
I can imagine that. Thank you.
Okay, Kevin over here. A couple fun ones. What's your favorite Mexican food?
Carne asada fries. I live for carne asada fries. Light beans, light guac, you know what I mean? And no onions whatsoever. So no pico de gallo.
Taco trucks, yay or nay?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I ain't never had a taco truck that was bad. You know what I mean? I had a taco truck that made me shit, but I ain't never had a taco truck that was bad.
Final question, can you dance salsa?
You know what I mean? I could do a little dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? I could do a little salsa. Depends on what's in front of me.
Thank you.
No problem. That's all right. Oh, sweet. Thank you.